Never have I been so excited to get a whiff of sweaty jock straps. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Yay, football, the fan. It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
So where's the office, back at division? Yeah, in the office, baby. Going out.
That's right, the greatest walk-up theme in history of sports radio right there. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and the Bake Show on the switches today. Boys, we have arrived at the game we've talked about for months. How are we feeling?
You know what? You can't help but feel incredible on a day like today. That big fight feel is just in the air. I'm talking Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I'm talking Ron Burgundy and his squad and Anchorman getting ready for their epic battle and fight. I'm talking the Battle of the Bastards.
PBS, no commercials, no mercy?
I'm talking Battle of the Bastards and Game of Thrones. Like, that's where we're at getting ready for tomorrow, baby, at Alton Stadium.
Man.
I'm fired up. Let's go.
That's amazing. When you were talking about fights, my mind goes to the great boxing matches of all time with, Ali Frazier and Hearns Hagler and all of those. But I agree with you. I hope we're not overhyping it. I don't know. We are now in a 12 playoff era. And if this was the old-fashioned four-teamer, it would feel bigger to me. I'm not saying it isn't big. It is. But there is survival out of it. There is a chance that a loss makes you stronger. There is a chance that a loss, you can circle the wagons again and get in and maybe be a little under the radar.
But you know what's on the line?
What's that?
It's that in sync.
Bye.
That's what's on the line, I think, tomorrow night.
Yeah, but can't you still get that even if you lose?
You might be able to, but this is a nice data point to have here if you win this one.
I agree. I'm not trying to downplay it. What I'm saying is it does have a different feel to me.
It does.
And that back in old school, think about this in a BCS era.
Yeah.
Like, this would be it. You do not lose this game, or you're really thinking you're on the outside looking in. But you're right. Ohio State is going out to Eugene and taking on a team. And maybe if they didn't lose to them here in 21, maybe I would feel even more confident than I already do for them. But yes, the spread has. I asked you earlier in the week, do you think the spread would go up or down? It's really kind of hung right. It's down to 3.
Okay.
But it cannot cross 3. I doubt it. Because I think if there was so much money that came in early on Ohio State that jacked that spread up, and now it's starting to find its level. And if somehow some massive money came in on Ohio State to lower that thing, I don't know. I just don't see it going to 2.5. But here we are at 3. That's what it feels like to me. You could see both. I guess I wouldn't be shocked if Ohio State lost the game. Maybe it'd be mildly surprising based on what we've seen out of both teams so far this season, if you want to measure it. And it's very tough to measure it because we're not dealing with the NFL. It's not parity every week. So it's really tough. But they had some close calls early in the season, Oregon did, against Idaho and Boise State. The Genty ran for, $192 on them. But I do love this quarterback matchup because you have a 5-year starter in college in that lefty and Dylan Gabriel, who's been very efficient with the football. I think he was 81 or 82% going into that Michigan State game. That was the highest in FBS through the first 4 games in like a dozen years. But, he did not have a great game against Sparty. He does not come into this game off of his best game. He's 20 of 32. That's 62.5%. All 3 of his interceptions have come in the red zone. And so they've got a revamped offensive line, which they've done a decent job with over the last few games. We've talked about they have weapons in places. Ohio State feels a little more complete to me, but, it's one of those things where you don't get too many of these chances if you're Oregon to bring this kind of beast into your place, your stadium, 54 grand capacity, 60 standing room only. They'll pack them in tight, and it's got to be a heck of an atmosphere. I never went to a game there. I've been to Eugene, but never was there for a game. It just seems like a very cool, the mountain, and it just feels like a very cool place. How loud it gets, we'll see. Ohio State's job is to quiet that loudness. Although they could have a pretty good Buckeye contingent. Really bad planning by me, by the way.
What do you mean?
Because I had a buddy of mine said, are you going? I said, going? No, I'm not going. He goes, why didn't we plan this like months ago? You go out there, you do the show, we play Bandon Dunes, we check off a couple big golf boxes. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is my life, not planning. So
probably a little chilly for golf out there right now, isn't it? I would think.
Manny,
I don't. With the weather in Eugene tomorrow, probably 50s.
I should know. I do the kickoff
50s?
Forecast on the Tailgate Show.
Listen, you mentioned something off the top that I think is awesome. Just outside of the football stuff, is that when we talked about the Big Ten expanding to 18 teams now, and you had these brands of USC and Oregon and UCLA and Washington come into this thing. These are the moments you're excited to have as fans, as players, as coaches, everybody involved in this come 7:30 tomorrow night. This is what it's all about. These two huge brands, but more importantly, two really good teams right now going at it. So I always kind of just like to remind myself of that because we get caught up so much and just go, 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 and go, go, go that you got to be where your feet are. Yeah. And you laid it out well, man. I mean, this is just a tremendous challenge for Ohio State and what they're going to face on both sides of the ball. They've been waiting for this test. Both teams have, and I can't wait to see how they respond. And I'm really excited to see the defensive game plan tomorrow for Ohio State and what they could do, because you highlighted what's important is, can Ohio State disrupt what is the most efficient passer in football right now? And Dylan Gabriel, he's not a guy that's going to, or hasn't, he can, but they haven't really had a ton of huge plays over the top. The ball's coming out quick. The defensive line may not have a bunch of time to get downhill. They're going to run a bunch of plays, but I just think it's going to be important for Jack and JT and Tyleek when they know, hey, I can't get home. Get your hands up in those passing lanes and disrupt some of those windows for Dylan Gabriel, who isn't a tall quarterback, right? So he's a guy that you may be able to affect him there. You mentioned the red zone deficiencies for him so far when it comes to interceptions. Ohio State's defense in the red zone ranks 4th in the country. Now, they haven't faced this challenge. I get that. But down there, they're really squeezing teams. So on both sides of the ball right now for Ohio State, or both ends of the field, I should say, for Ohio State, they're really good on red zone defense, top 5 in the country, and they're number 1 in the country in red zone offense efficiency with only kicking 1 field goal, and they've got 12 rushing touchdowns and 8 passing touchdowns down there. That's going to be critical. In a game like this, to where you don't want to leave meat on the bone for an offense, can Ohio State continue that trend of putting 6 on the board instead of 3? Cannot wait to see what that looks like come tomorrow night.
Yep, there's so many challenges all over the board. We'll talk about all of them. I mean, certainly the running game for Ohio State, if we're going to see it, we're going to see it this week. We saw it against Iowa. That was supposed to be a pretty stout run defense, and certainly they were able to do a pretty good job against them. This combo platter, this 3-headed monster of Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, and now Will Howard is going to be very interesting because of what they did against Iowa. I agree with you on Oregon. They do like to go tempo, but if you can put them, and the whole key, and this is very cliche, the whole key, if you can put them in passing situations, 3rd and long, not 3rd and short, if you can get them in those types of situations, when Gabriel is pressured, his completion percentage comes way down, like 20%. It's when he sees pressure on his dropbacks, he's a different guy. And you're right, it may be from the height factor. That may be part of it. But that's what you got to do. You cannot allow him to dictate on schedule, and then you've got something. And that's exactly what they did to Iowa. Totally different beast. Iowa's doesn't have a quarterback that scared you. This guy can scare you. The other thing I will tell you about their defense, and when you think about Oregon, usually in my mind, this may be a mistake. In the past, it's always gone to offense. Can you just outscore them? I'm not that worried about their defense. And I was watching their game the other night, or a couple of them this year, and I will tell you this. I don't know how good they are, but they're experienced. You start looking up their roster on their defensive line, Matty, Birch is a senior. Jamari Caldwell is a senior. Devon Jackson, linebacker, is a sophomore, and the kid Bryce Betcher is a sophomore. The baseball kid, local kid from Eugene, can really get after it. But then you start looking at Jabbar Muhammad, who transferred from Washington, senior. Nico Reed, the other corner, senior. Kobe Savage, the kid that Will Howard's very familiar with, senior. Brandon Johnson, the nickelback, senior. Tyshim Johnson, senior, strong safety. They've been around, and they can get after you up front a little bit. So I think they're more complete than I want to give them, that I probably didn't give them credit for earlier in the year. But look what they were doing earlier in the year. Their offensive line was a mess. They were toying around with Idaho. Probably should have lost the game. Probably could have lost to Boise. They didn't. And I remember sitting here going, I don't know who they are.
Yeah. You mentioned the experience. I think that's a card both teams can play. Because when you were rolling through their roster, my mind went to the same could be said for Ohio State. And that's why, I'm not going to, well, you know what? Maybe you do see some mistakes because of just how good these teams are. But I would be surprised if this is a sloppy game from both teams, just based off of what you said about Oregon's roster, what we know about Ohio State's roster, and the reason why these guys wanted to come back is to not only get this game, but the games to come, and especially the big one at the end of November. But both teams on their staffs, but more importantly, the guys out there on the field that have to execute are dudes that have been around a lot, and I don't think will be shook by the moment.
No, you wouldn't think so at all. This is going to be one of these moments that leads you down the same road you're going, or whether you have to kind of circle it a little bit and come back to who you are. I expect Ohio State and Chip Kelly to try to be as physical as they can with that running game and set up Will Howard the way they've set him up all year with play action. Don't do too much. No more bonehead interceptions. Just try to find the right guy at the right time, and they'll feel pretty good about themselves. When we come back, we will examine Will Howard and the big game part of this. And I'll tell you, from Dan Lanning's point of view, the head coach, somebody, he stayed, Matt. He could have gone to Bama or whatever. He stayed, but somebody didn't. And it's forcing him to change the way they call plays, the terminology. You'll hear that next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The fall holiday weekend is just around the corner. It's the perfect time to dare to compare at Bob's Discount Furniture. You've seen the action. You've felt the suspense. You've saved hundreds, even thousands of dollars on highly rated furniture, mattresses, and more. America loves it so much that Bob's is opening 2 new stores on October 11th, just in time for the holiday weekend. See how much you can save when you dare to compare in store or at mybobs.com.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season?
Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas, where you'll compete for the grand prize.
A trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl.
Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory.
This week, join me on Sunday at Donnericks on North High for the Browns-Eagles game. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. to give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right. He shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy Friday. Time now to get a look at that weather report. 73 is your high today. Sunny skies. Clear tonight with a low around 48. Tomorrow we are looking at increasing clouds with a high of 77. On Sunday, look for a few possible showers with a high of 76. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
These two have a ton in common. Anthony loves hockey, and Matty's always cold. This is Rothman and Ice.
Indeed it is. Matty, quick little shout out for my friends, the Columbus boys who are advancing to the National Car Rental PGA Championship. And it's not just all boys. So a team of 8 young golfers from our fine city recently won the Midwest Regional Round of the National Car Rental PGA Championship, and they're all under the age of 13, 7 boys, 1 girl. They competed against over 80,000 kids nationwide to secure their spot in the national finals. And this event is similar to the National Little League World Series that we love so much. So they travel to Frisco, Texas. They're competing in this, in the junior championships. It'll be televised. Let's see. Today is actually started yesterday. It'll go through the 13th on various ESPN channels throughout the course of the event. So I'm wishing them well and just trying to create a little awareness for the Columbus market and those kids and supporting them. So good luck to that team and bring home the title.
Here we go. Bring it home. I love it. Good luck. Good luck for sure.
We wanted to talk about Will Howard a little bit and where he stands as far as big game Will. We don't know yet. We don't know. We know one thing. I believe that his number is going to get called a little more. I think 18, and maybe not as a design as much as that he knows this is the go-get-it game. We've seen it, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will design it for him. Maybe they will.
Listen, I think when you brought him in, you knew that you had this dynamic duo at running back, but this is the game, to your point, right? Where if they got to have it, we got to go to it on the play sheet. We saw 10 carries last week from him, but we heard all offseason about how he slimmed down and he's running over 20 miles an hour and all those things. I absolutely think that's all in play this year is Will Howard's got to be ready to potentially put the squad on his back with his legs tomorrow night.
Yeah, it feels like that to me. You know, we try to compare him to Kyle McCord so early in this year. He is bigger. He runs faster. I have no idea whether he's a true better passer than Kyle McCord. They brought him in with all the experience. We know why they got him. They got him for two big reasons: his experience and that running ability. That ability to give them an extra weapon in that backfield. And here he is on the comfort of taking off.
Yeah, very. Everything's on the docket, and, we've definitely ramped it up as we've gone. And, I think, the design quarterback run stuff is definitely going to be more of an emphasis, going forward. And I think that, it adds an element to our offense, and anytime that, you can add something that, they have to be worried about, or something extra that, that can present an issue to a defense, like, we're going to take every advantage we can get. And I think the quarterback run stuff has been good. And I think we have a lot more up our sleeve, and I'm excited to get it out on the field. And I love doing it. I think it's fun. I think, getting my pads downhill and popping people, like, I think, it makes you feel more into the game, and I like to, that first hit, kind of warms you up, and it gets you going, man. And it makes you a little more juiced, and it makes it more fun.
Going to get Brady Quinn's take on that at the bottom of the hour at 12:33, Maddie. But I think it's going to be a big part. We'll talk about that a lot more going throughout the show and the breakdown of this offense against the Oregon defense.
Yeah, I just don't know how much you want to hear your quarterback talking about lowering his shoulder and popping pads. Like, let's just be smart. I respect the mentality, but he's too valuable for him to be putting himself in that type of collision or those type of collisions a lot. But the interesting thing about that clip that we just played was him saying we got a lot more up our sleeve when it comes to that. And I think that's what you and I were just alluding to, is they've thrown it out there. They've teased it every once in a while. But I don't know if their best quarterback run designs have been put out there on film. And I think that's a good thing. You haven't had to use that just yet through the handful of games based off of who your opponent was. But that's great, right? You have a coach in Chip Kelly that knows what to do with quarterbacks like this based off of his experience with Mariota and some other guys. And you just heard the mentality from your quarterback that he likes to do that. Because I can't imagine there's a bunch of quarterbacks that want to put their bodies in harm's way, the way that he's talking about liking doing that. So I love that there. You got the brain trust that knows when to dial up in the right way, and the quarterback, when he hears that in his helmet, he's not going to get scared to do it. He's going to be a guy that's ready to go all in, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, the popping of the pads might be just something you say, a toughness thing that you get out there publicly. It also may be real in that it may happen in the red zone, that it could happen inside the 6-yard line or something like that on the read option, where there is a linebacker in front of him, and you do have to go through him and not around him. Could be some of that. All right, so the other big part of this, which is what we talked about before we went to break, was Carlos Loughlin and the fact that he's in his first season as Ohio State's running backs coach, and everybody knows he was hired by Ryan Day this spring back in April. He spent a couple seasons at, you guessed it, the University of Oregon. And so when Dan Lanning was asked about a little bit of the behind enemy lines, he did talk about how real it is and that they did have to kind of change things up a bit.
I think that probably plays both ways. Like last week we played against coaches that have been here before. When we played UCLA, we played against coaches that have been here before. It makes you change your terminology. Like, you're going to change the names of calls. Stuff before that might have been a run for us is maybe now a pass. Something that was going right is now maybe going left. But that's pretty easy for our players to do once you communicate that and change it. Certainly he knows some of the things that we like to do. On the same note, we certainly know some of the things that he likes to do. So, Coach Locke did a great job for our program. He's doing a great job for theirs now.
It has that feel of maybe you don't think you have to do it, but you probably have to do it. Like, this is too big of a game to take chances on, that if he hears something or identifies something that he's so familiar with 2 seasons, that he could tip off his team. Absolutely. And it gave Oregon just one more thing to have to think about.
Mm-hmm. And it's the mind games that I love about games like this. But I think at the end of the day, no matter who you are, whether it's Coach Lanning, Coach Kelly, Coach Day, Coach Loughlin, you just got to trust who you are and who your guys are. And I think more times than not, that'll be the case, because I don't think you want to potentially confuse your guys with like a guessing game of, I saw this, that means that's coming. I think that could be a bit of a dangerous game, and especially now that Coach Lanning's throwing it out there, that they may have changed up some things. But I think Coach Loughlin has done a great job, right? Pairing him with the running backs he has, and knowing how to, throw out multiple looks as far as, hey, it's Quinshawn's time, it's Travion's time. I think that's a great trait for a coach to have because he did some of that last year at Oregon, and we know the run game has been really awesome this year. So Coach Lachlan, he's going to be fired up tomorrow, as is Chip Kelly and everybody involved. This means a lot to everybody, and it should, because there's a lot on the line, and this is one of those banger matchups that we've been talking about for months.
It feels like to me there's a little bit of we can do it as well as you can do it and better. And I brought that up earlier about Oregon, and what they're known for is their offense. And Ohio State certainly has been so great defensively, but Ohio State knows they can run the football. It's what they've done. They haven't had to put Will. I made that reference to even last week. It was so weird for me to see that Cade McNamara had put the ball in the air as much as Will Howard this year, almost identical.
If I put an over-under on Will's carries at 10.5, what would you take for tomorrow night?
Just touches.
Just carries in general for Will Howard. 10.5. Over or under?
I'm probably going to take the under on 10.5. That seems a little high to me, but
okay.
Where are you at? You taking the over?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the over on that. This is the game.
I'll give you. Well, there's no doubt. This is the game. He did have, I'm glad you put that number because it was right, because he had 10 against
Last
Iowa.
Week, yeah.
But he had gone to start the year was 4, 1, 3, 6, 10.
Ramping him up.
Yeah. Boy, that's a great question. That's a great little prop right there that we're not allowed to bet on anymore. Brady Quinn comes up next. Who does he think has the edge in this one? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Buckeyes head out west to battle Oregon. Keep it locked on the Fan all week for all the analysis, conversation, and whatever the hell Man and Bone do. The Fan.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorrento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capace here for Worthington Jewelers.
Join us for our semi-annual bridal sale.
Featuring our BOGO, buy one, get one 50% off on engagement rings, wedding bands, or wedding sets. Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
True Work is the most technical workwear in the world, delivering modern solutions to timeless job site challenges. Innovation meets tradition in True Work's high-performance lineup of work pants, shirts, and jackets, all engineered to give you the comfort and protection you need, especially in the most extreme conditions. Check out the full lineup with over 50,000 five-star reviews at truework.com and use the code SPORTS15 to get 15% off your first order. That's TRUEWERK.com. True Work helps you be your best when the weather's at its worst.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for In the Pocket with Brady Quinn, a Dublin native, former Notre Dame quarterback, Browns first-round pick, star of Fox's Big Noon Kickoff, and most importantly, a very handsome Mang.
All right, he's our guy, Brady Quinn. Big Noon Kickoff, Fox Sports. And I've got to ask you, because I didn't, where in the world are you? Are you, where are you this week?
I am in Provo, Utah. So for Fox's slate, we actually are going to be leading into Washington at Iowa, in Iowa City. However, we are the second game is BYU, who's undefeated this season, one of the better stories in college football, hosting Arizona. So BYU sitting right now atop of the Big 12. They were picked, I believe, like 13th before the season to finish in the Big 12, and they have surprised everyone, beating a couple top 25 teams already in Kansas State, who they blew out, and SMU, who continues to look better and better.
All right, let's get to our big one. And listen, Vegas says Ohio State's the favorite by a field goal. It's kind of hung around that number. Oregon's been waiting for this game. We know how they both arrived here. Oregon looked overhyped early in the season. They kind of found themselves a little bit. Dylan Gabriel against Will Howard. I don't know if it's exactly that kind of a matchup because Ohio State's going to probably want to run a lot. And I'll get your feeling. Who do you think has the edge?
I think Ohio State, and I don't know that it's going to be close. I'm not just saying this because, you guys are based in Columbus. It's just when I've watched Oregon this year, they're not the team that we saw last year that I think was on the cusp of competing for a shot to play for a national championship. The passing game, if you look at the completion percentage for Dylan Gabriel, it's one of the best in the country, although that's kind of some smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of short, intermediate passes. There's not a ton of down-the-field threats or down-the-field passing game and opening some things up. It's one of the reasons why the completion percentage is so high. Gabriel's thrown a couple red zone interceptions 2 out of the last 3 weeks. And when I look at this offensive line, I don't think they're able to be as physical and able to move defensive fronts quite as well as what I think Ohio State's been able to do. And I just go back to that Boise State game earlier this year, watching Ashton Genty, who's granted, in my opinion, the best running back in college football, but also he ripped off almost 200 yards. They had over 220 or something like that, 3 tutties. I mean, he did whatever he wanted to do. And now you got Quinshon Judkins coming in town and Trayvon Henderson coming in town, and you add Will Howard to that rushing attack as well. Not to mention you got to be concerned about the matchups on the outside. So I just there's not a scenario in here where I think honestly Oregon keeps this close unless there's a ton of pressure on Will Howard. He's struggled in some spots where he's had pressure on him. That dates back to Kansas State. And obviously Oregon jumps off to a big lead, and Ohio State is forced to be one-dimensional. I think if they jump out to a lead or this thing's close, they'll eventually pull away.
Yeah, that's interesting, BQ. I do want to lock in, though, on Oregon's defense a little bit more with you because the headline, like you're talking about, is always the quarterbacks, and I get that for sure. But looking at Oregon's defense, is there a player or two on that side of the ball that you think can present some problems for the Buckeyes?
Not really so much up front. Like, I think it's pretty evenly matched, honestly. Like, I mean, if you want to go through the roster, we can, but I don't look at any, like, glaring weaknesses. When I look at their secondary, I think that's probably the best group as far as Ohio State will see this year matching up with them on the outside. But again, when you've got Jeremiah Smith, I don't care who's on him. Like, I'm still going to throw to him. I'm still going to, take my shots to Carnell Tate and Emeka Egbuka. So there's no one like Brandon Dorlus last year who really used to pop on the film for them, or Kayvon Thibodeau, who I know a few years back. That was a player that everyone kind of kept tabs on who didn't even end up playing in that game, which ultimately ended up not really mattering that much. So there's no one to me, at least defensively speaking for Oregon this year, that stands out like that. I think if you're talking from the Oregon perspective, they're probably more worried about Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau than I think Ohio State is worried about any of those guys up front for Oregon.
You think that Chip Kelly, I mean, what kind of edge does that give Ohio State here? He's certainly going to be calling this running game a lot. They did a pretty good job against Iowa, and Iowa was supposed to be this big, stout, run defense. How much of this game does he want in Will Howard's hands?
Probably not a ton, at least, on the road. I wouldn't say early in the season, but almost at the midway point of the season. You'd like to be able to just kind of do what you'd like to do, stay balanced, 250 rushing, 250 passing, somewhere in that ballpark where it's much more even. I don't know that he wants Will Howard to get into a shootout with Dylan Gabriel. I don't think that's the game plan. But I think the familiarity with, Chip Kelly having, played in the Pac-12 and been around Oregon, understanding Dan Lanning's scheme, understand a lot of the personnel too, no doubt plays to the advantage of Ohio State more so offensively preparing to go up against this Ducks team as compared from the flip side, where this is all new for Oregon. They're going to be taking on an Ohio State team that's absolutely loaded, and it's very different from the last time these teams squared off. I think it's probably, I don't want to say closer to like the national championship year back in 2014, but there's kind of some elements that are similar with the exception of the wide receiver core is so much better than what it was back then. I think Will Howard's, probably a better passer as well than where Cardell Jones was at that point in time in his career. But I think as far as how they stack up, that might be a little bit more fair with the exception of, Marcus Mariota is a dynamic runner. Dylan Gabriel's not that. He's capable, but he's not going to take off and take one to the house from 50 yards out.
A few hours before Ohio State and Oregon get after each other, we'll get the Red River rivalry. Number 1, Texas taking on Oklahoma. You look at these two squads right now. What's your assessment of what we're going to get from those two teams kicking off at 3:30?
It's always tough, right? Like last year we saw Texas win the Big 12, yet it was Oklahoma who ended up winning in this rivalry. So I know it's a 2-touchdown, game, at least, Texas is favored in that respect, but it kind of goes out the window a little bit when these two teams square off. Quinn Ewers comes back from his injury. He's only played a couple of games this season. The offense has been fine without him, with Arch Manning at the helm, but you wonder, will there be some rust there? Quinn's showed up big time in a lot of big games, but he's been riddled with injuries throughout the course of his career. And so who knows how that's going to look. And if he does get out there and struggle based on how well Arch Manning plays, is there any additional pressure to put Arch in there since he's been the one obviously leading this offense so far and is the leading passer of the season for Texas. So I think that's the biggest question for me is what does Quinn Ewers look like? Again, he's stepped up big in a lot of big moments throughout the years. Bama last year obviously played great on the road there. And this is not an Oklahoma team that I think presents a ton of issues, for Texas, who's kind of solid all the way around. But again, rivalry games, all that kind of stuff sometimes goes out the window.
We're talking with our friend every week at this time, Brady Quinn, the former 2-time All-American quarterback at Notre Dame, Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff. I do want to get your feeling on this Penn State team. They got a number 4 in front of their name now, which is pretty lofty. And now they've got to finally get out of their time zone. They've got a desperate USC team. I don't know what they're going to bring to the table, but give me your take on Penn State. We haven't talked a lot about these, the cross-country stuff so far this year, but this is a fairly big one. They're 4th ranked in the country, and they're going to USC. Is that a tricky spot for them or no?
No, 100% it is. I mean, usually it's a little tougher for West Coast teams traveling east because of the time zone change and having to get up earlier and get your body woken up. But, we just saw Penn State last week. We were in Happy Valley. One of the things that concerns me about this team is as much as they've made strides or improvements, there's still just that lacking of the true downfield who scares you on the outside. I don't see that so much with this team. I mean, Amari Evans and Trey Wallace are really their two wide receivers who've got speed and the ability to, but even versus UCLA, who's, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten, they had a hard time doing it. And so, Coach Meyer kind of said this on the set before the game. He feels like it's the same Penn State team. They're a solid team defensively. They got two great running backs. Singleton, I would assume, will be back for this one. They're a solid quarterback, but just do they have enough? And that's what concerns me about this matchup versus Southern Cal. They've got their back up against the wall. They lost a hard-fought, match versus Minnesota. They get back home, and, can they find a way of matching Southern Cal's big playability on the outside of wide receiver if it becomes a shootout? And I know Penn State's geared to not make it that. They want to do exactly what they saw Minnesota do. They want to grind this thing out, run the football, play great defense, eliminate this from those big plays, see if they can be the more physical team. But that's hard to do oftentimes depending on how this game starts off. So, again, another example of a former Pac-12 team trying to figure out how to win, how to play within the Big Ten. And I think if they can jump on Penn State early, Penn State could be in some trouble because I don't think they want to get in a shootout with USC, and I don't think they want to get in one of those track meets going up and down the field.
Well done, my man. Always appreciate your insight. Maybe we'll get back to the favorites winning this week, but boy, last week was wild. We shall see. Thanks, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Appreciate it, guys. Have some fun.
Yep, he's our guy, Brady Quinn, bringing it strong every week here on Rothman and Ice. And, of course, when you think about last week, Maddie, with, Bama losing as number 1, Tennessee losing as number 4, Miami barely beating Cal by a point, Missouri going down as number 9.
Craziness,
Michigan
man.
going down as number 10. USC going down as number 11. Am I missing anybody? That's
Sounds
enough.
Like you got most
That's
of them.
enough.
It was crazy,
Yeah.
and I was dunking all over the schedule last week.
What a great weekend.
And the football god said, shut up.
You don't need to watch this. Get your grocery done. Get the shopping.
I still felt that way. I didn't watch many of those games, but when I was catching up on everything, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
This Saturday was lit.
Well, they heard you yapping, just like when we're talking to Mets. They heard him yapping about Sam Darnold. He got him, too. All right, we come back. Overs and unders next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Shop Meijer for monster deals and spooky savings this week. Save on red or golden delicious, Empire, Fuji, Gala, and Macintosh apples. Mix and match and fill your tote bag for 79 cents a pound. From creepy to just plain silly, our selection of kids' costumes are 25% off. And Halloween snack-size non-chocolate candy is only $3.49 per bag. Shop these frighteningly good deals and more in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
It's Rocktober, baby! It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Save with 1.9% financing up to 60 months on every new Lindsay Honda, combined with the Lindsay Difference Package. A value of $1,295 included with every vehicle purchase. We're about going the extra mile to provide you with these unique benefits. Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24, 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus.
Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy.
Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush.
Plus top-of-the-line grills still in stock.
Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Highbank Distillery is hosting Battle of the Burgers October 14th through the 19th. Visit Highbank's 3 locations, get yourself an $8 burger, upload your burger, tag Highbank on social media for a chance to win free burgers for a year. Details at highbankco.com/battle.
So, first down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes.
The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Bishop and Friends.
You can't really judge what this team is or not. You know it's talented. Until you're punched in the mouth, you don't really know what you have.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited truck month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Would you believe that giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people? Or that a single cloud can weigh 550 tons or more? Sounds fake, right? How about an insurance company that actually treats you right? Sounds unbelievable, but it's true. NJM Insurance is proud to put policyholders first. And they don't use jingles or mascots either. Don't believe me? Well, guess what? Everything in this commercial is true and approved by the legal department. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit njm.com for a quote.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
In 2021, LSU finished with a disappointing 6-7 record. Luckily for them, a new head coach in Chip Kelly and a quarterback from Arizona State, Jaden Daniels, arrived in Baton Rouge. They lead LSU to the 2022 SEC Championship game and defeated Purdue in the Citrus Bowl to finish 10-4. Kelly and Daniels made that 2021 season like it never even happened.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present overs and unders.
All right, Bake, what do you have prepared for us, sir, that will dazzle the eye and illuminate the mind?
Well, first of all, I'll let you guys know that you both went 500 last week. A cool 3-3. We have got an elimination game in the Major League Baseball playoffs tonight, and we have another one tomorrow as the Guardians take on the Tigers. 8:08 first pitch. That's a bummer if you're looking to watch both that and the Ohio State game tomorrow. Had to run the dual TVs. Are we going over or under 4.5 runs in the game?
Well, first of all, I'm glad we're 3-3, Matty, because that means we're right in that meaty part of the curve. You know, not showing off, not falling behind. It's a good spot for us.
I'll take it. Yeah. I will absolutely take it. You're right. This stinks for Guardian and Buckeye fans, but some people have the YouTube TV thing popping off, so you can probably watch them both. Or you could just go out to the bar and take shots with Baker. He'll buy you some shots. You can watch him, watch everything with him, and run up his tab.
We're on Scotty Vegas's tab, so we're definitely good.
That's a big tab. That is absolutely a big tab for sure. So here's the deal. We don't have to deal with the shadows. Don't have to deal with the League of Shadows like you're from Batman. The problem is you got Tarek Skubal on the mound. Now, I know the Guardians' offense came alive, and that was a crazy game yesterday up there in Detroit, but I'm going to take the under on this just because of who's pitching for Detroit. The dude is he's different.
It's a great number because it's even lower than Vegas. And so he really got us here. Because I think the over-under on this game is about 6.
And there was 7 in the first, there was 3 in the second and third, and then 9 in game 4.
I'm with Maddie. I'm just going to err on the under. I don't know how, how's it going to feel in Cleveland on Saturday night? It's going to be a little cooler. Yeah. It may lend to keeping the ball in the yard a little more. Mm-hmm. It's not like these teams are just launching anyway, and then you add Skubal, who, by the way, his stats this year have been off the charts, probably Cy Young Award winner.
You got his line from the other day in Cleveland in front of you?
I do.
What was it 7 innings did he get? How many did he get?
Skubal went 7 full.
Okay.
Gave up 3 hits.
1 earned run.
8 Ks, no walks, no runs.
No runs.
He shut him out.
He's a dog. I'm going under.
All right,
I'm going
guys.
to go under because a 3-2 game, that's okay. I can live with that, but it feels more like 3-1, 2-1, like it just has that kind of feel to it.
Let's go to the Ohio State game tomorrow night over at Bet365. The over-under on the Ohio State-Oregon game, 53.5 points. Which way you going?
So I think my score has me at the...
You're probably under. Go ahead. You can lead us if you know.
Yeah, I'm under my score. I'll save that for later, but my score has me at the under right now.
I'm stuck, man. I feel like it should go over. But we've watched, even Ohio State struggling in the first half against Iowa, that thing almost got over that number. But they were at home. It's different, I understand. They've been sluggish out of the gate. Will they be that way again? And that would lead to the under. But I think these kind of games, if you're expecting a pretty close game, then I'm still going to go lean over that 53.5.
All right, I like it when
Put
you
me
guys
over.
I like it when you guys disagree. The Jackets unfortunately lose their opener last night to Minnesota 3-2. They're back at it tomorrow in Denver against the Colorado Avalanche. Over under 5.5 goals in that one.
Well, I like the way they played last night. I really do. They didn't get the result, and maybe, and I'm not into moral victories, but I think with this team, I'm allowed in game one on the road to feel like a little bit of a moral victory. Elvis played well. He had that great save early on the wraparound. I'll tell you what, I held my breath when Z went sliding to that boards early on, trying to go back check. And I'm like, please, no. Then he gets to the bench, and they're kind of like, it's like, hey, let me catch my breath for a minute. If he would have left the bench and gone down the tunnel, I would have been, no, there's no such thing. For him, I would feel like, but thank God, no, and he played well. But they outshot him. They out-hit him.
They did.
They just didn't outscore him. They scored, by the way, they scored on the power play. They gave it away a little too much for my liking, but I got to tell you, if they lay down in front of a few more shots, I'll be happy. But other than that, that was a nice little moral victory for them. Now, as far as Colorado goes, the Avs got absolutely lit up by Vegas. Georgiev didn't know what was going on. 5.5.
I'm going over.
I'm going to go over on this. The game last night went under.
Yeah, I'm going over.
But I'm going to go over.
I'm with you.
Yep.
All right, guys. The Browns have given up 8 rushing touchdowns this year. 2 last weekend to Brian Robinson Jr. They're playing the Eagles. And Saquon Barkley this week. Barkley touches the paint over under 1.5 times.
You know what? My man to my left did a tremendous job of scouting running backs in the fantasy draft this year. So I'm doing this as just a good pal, as a good lad. Give me the over for my guy AR and his fantasy team. We're going over. Say Queasy's getting in the box twice.
He's done it twice this year. He did it against the Saints. He did it against Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think he has 1 receiving touchdown. I'd like to get him in the box a little more than that receiving.
We do have AJ and Devontae back this week.
Glad that you went that way because you knew I wasn't. Because there's no way I'm going to tell you that one of my guys is going to blow up. That's not my personality.
Yeah.
So the mental hedge continues. Saquon, let's get him in the paint like we did Kenny Walker last night, right? We got him in there.
Go.
Let's get him in one time. And if he decides to do it more than that, I won't be mad. I'll take the under on 1.5 touchdowns.
Like to call that reverse psychology. Yep. The Bengals in Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the Giants. Over under 269.5 passing for Burrow.
The Giants have kept people under this. Only Geno Smith got him. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going over. They found something last week against Baltimore. They're clicking. I'm going with the over.
And then the last one, it's been a little chilly in town, and it's supposed to get a little cooler next week, but we're supposed to have a really nice weekend. Some people even saying maybe we'll touch 80 degrees, over under the high, 79.5.
You call it chilly, I call it cold. Give me the under.
I'm going under as well. Market guaranteed.
There we go.
All right, we come back after a SportsCenter update, and does Vegas still believe the Bengals are a playoff team? We'll update it for you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We are your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save more with digital coupons. California red, white, or black seedless grapes are just 99 cents a pound with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. It's the game we've all been waiting for. Number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Oregon tomorrow night at 7:30. Ryan Day earlier this week talked about the challenges the Ducks offense pose.
They get the ball out quick, and Gabriel's very accurate, and they have really good playmakers out in space, and they make you defend the field from sideline to sideline, and then they take their shot. So they play very, very fast. So you got to be on your game, and he's a great operator, and he's very talented.
Our coverage here on The Fan tomorrow gets gets underway at 2 p.m. with the pregame show, 4 o'clock the tailgame show, then network coverage takes over at 6. We have an elimination game in the MLB playoffs tonight. The Dodgers hosting the Padres in Game 5 of their series. That one's at 8 o'clock. The Guardians play Game 5 of their series against the Tigers tomorrow at 8. This one brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150s to F-750s, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters.
Are you working? Because we barely are. It's Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football and quiet quitting. The Fan. Anthony can follow direction very well, as long as he first prints out MapQuest. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Second hour of the program on a Football Friday. But
Looking
we're
for
thinking hockey, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
no, you're good, big dog. You're all good. Looking for tickets to the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series game at the Shoe. The Fan is giving away tickets to the Bigots Jackets fans. Here's how you can win a pair of tickets to the game. Go to 971thefan.com. Describe what makes you the biggest fan and upload pictures. The top 10 biggest fans, as decided by, quote, the fan selection panel, win a pair of tickets to the game. You must be entered by 11:59 p.m. on October 13th. The game is Saturday, March 1st at the Horseshoe. The Jackets battle the Red Wings. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or on the Ticketmaster app. Are you on this fan selection panel?
I'm not on the committee.
How are you not on this thing?
I don't need to be on that committee.
What do you mean?
I think any of us could have. I think you just had to volunteer, right?
No, I didn't. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Wait, this is not a paid situation?
No, this is not. But
Oh,
you're
that
Mr.
definitely
Hockey
we're not,
and Hounds.
Definitely we're not doing it.
Maddie, I'm pretty sure you and I were sitting next to each other in that meeting.
Doesn't mean I want him sitting next.
Oh,
you
is that
purchased the ticket for him. Doesn't mean I want him sitting next to me, does it?
Is that the 9 a.m. meeting we had like a week ago? There's like 5
Promotions
people in
meeting,
there.
yeah.
Okay. I don't even know if I was awake for that at that time.
Yeah, that's right. My eyes were open. I was sleeping with my eyes open.
I did keep kicking
Any
you
of those
under the
meetings.
table.
Yeah.
Good on me, I guess. Great job, Matty, guys.
I thought Bake might get a movie quote that I just dropped, but he didn't. It was old. I was just curious.
You drop gems, man. They're hard to catch.
Yeah, they are hard to catch.
You know?
Probably should be hard to catch, the movies I like. By the way, you know what I've realized, Maddie?
Where you go?
I think now if I go to an outdoor stadium and I think I would appreciate a seat cushion more than I ever did. I think there's a very quiet, underrated. I used to think, oh, that's just an extra. You know, we have the season tickets at Ohio State and they get the seat, the seat. I'm telling you, and a guy like you that gets cold, you'd be so surprised at what a seat cushion can do for you.
So you're saying
and Ohio State's not paying me to say this. I'm telling you, the heat, the comfort, it makes outdoor sporting events, it takes them to another level. And I'm old school enough where I used to have the one that's barely inflated, the one that got the handle, you're walking in with it like an old you-know-what, and you're just like, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I think I'm that guy now. I think I may have to search and find a seat cushion.
So you're saying you want your own personal tush push?
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because after a while, if you're sitting in the bleachers, that, gets a little dicey. I'll never forget. We went out for one of my friend's birthdays a few years ago, and we did like the little pedal thing on the bus where you can, drink and you got a pedal and all that stuff. Have you been on one of those?
Seen them going by.
I'll never forget the soreness I had on my lower half after doing that. That was a rough couple days after that. It was, Felt
like
didn't feel good.
Like you went on some trail ride for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Yeah, it was brutal.
Didn't we establish yesterday that, AR, you were living that sweet life at games anyway, so you don't need to worry about the cushion.
I'm looking into this because, for the bye week next week, I'm going to venture back to Bloomington and check out the Hoosiers in person.
Coach Signetti.
And yes.
You're an alum?
Google him.
You can get in there.
I win.
Big, you know what's happening for this Stadium Series game. AR's 50-yard line in a suite up there, hot chocolate, just everything he needs up in the booth.
Just telling you, I'm looking into seat cushions.
Probably going to be sitting right next to Don Woodell.
And it might be warm. It might be in the sun. By the way, it's going to be 78 degrees tomorrow in Eugene, so there's no worry about it.
Really?
Yeah. Could have played golf. Could have abandoned dunes that thing.
Yeah.
Made a whole weekend out of it.
Okay.
Would have been great. On the company dime. It would
I'm
have
just
been
glad
amazing.
we're not getting rain or wind or anything for that game. We need these teams on clean slates, and let's just get after it.
All right, so let me tell you a story on a certain football team in our state that somehow still has belief. And I'm talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm going to get you a price here on whether the Cincinnati Bengals can still make the playoffs, according to Vegas. Right now, yes is the underdog.
Okay.
So they're not believing they will.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving you plus 140. Now, when I got him, when I made that horrible bet, at least I had him at plus 210. I actually got him at a better rate than this. No is minus 170. They're saying, good night, Irene. They're done.
The Bengals are like...
Can I compare that to the Browns who have the same record?
Oh, yeah. Where are they at?
This is the difference between two teams. You really want to know? We define it. We talk about this. The difference that Vegas believes between the Cincinnati Bengals at 1-4 and the Browns at 1-4.
What is this number?
The Browns to make the playoffs. I'm sorry, to miss the playoffs are minus 2,200. The Bengals were minus 170. The Browns to make it are 10-1 to make it, and the Bengals are not even 1.5-1. That's what Vegas thinks of them.
This is what they're saying. One team has Joe Burrow, one team has Deshaun Watson. That's it. To me, that's what it comes down to. All quarterback, right? And what we've seen with our own eyes. Nobody's interested in moral victories or losses or whatever that is when it comes to the Bengals, especially in the NFL. But Chiefs, Ravens, these games where they've been right there against what some people perceive as the best teams in the sport, they could have gone either way. 4th and 16, pass interference. Your placeholder fumbles a snap last week where you should have won the game. That's why there's that belief there and the history, right? I know the Super Bowl was in the, kind of deep in the rearview mirror there, but we know the core of that team knows what it takes to get it done. This is like for a lot of people when it comes to not quitting the Bengals, like that guy or that gal you're in a relationship with, and you just know that you probably should break up with them, but there's just certain things that they can do for you, right? That you're just not willing to give up.
What can Brown do for you?
I'm not going to define what those things are, but your mind can go down a few different rows. You're picking up what I'm putting down. And I think that's what the Bengals are for Vegas and a lot of people. You just can't quit them, even though the record and the history of these records tells us you probably should break up with them.
Yes, it's honestly, it's like the person that kind of did you wrong, and you're like, never, 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 never again. But if they called today, you probably would go meet them for a drink. I would say, here's the implication. The fact that the Browns are minus 2,200 means that there's almost a 96% chance, according to Vegas, that they won't make the playoffs.
That they're out.
And what did I say? The Bengals were minus what, 170?
The Bengals right now, my man, are minus 170, no, plus 140, yes. And I think those odds will shift in their favor again after this week.
They're 63% to not make it.
I think they're getting a dub against the Giants, and it may be a comfortable dub. We found out before the show that Malik Neighbors is out for this game. That's a massive blow for the Giants. What's Joey B talking about over there, Big? We got some Joey B. Because the offense, look, they turned a corner last week. I don't know if that's the Ravens defense being awful or them absolutely locking in. Let's hear from Joey B on why the offense is clicking.
We found a rhythm early in each of these last 4 games, I would say. And when you can find a rhythm early, that just gives you a lot of confidence and puts the defense on their heels. And then you feel like you can call any play and that we're going to make it work. So that's our job as players, no matter what play is called, no matter what look you get. Try to find a completion, try to find positive yardage, try to find a first down. We're going to continue to play that way. Our playing each week has been great. We're going to continue to build on the run game. We know what the pass game is. So we're going to continue to get better.
Here's the problem, and it's too bad it timed up this way. They needed a half-decent defense to keep them in the season while their offense, while they got Jamar back and the whole team. Like, that's unfortunately the Cincinnati Bengals couldn't rely on a defense, although I shouldn't crush the defense completely in game one because I think they did enough. It was the turnovers that killed them against the Patriots. Absolutely. I mean, going into the end zone, Joe's fumble. Like, there are things that happen. So I don't want to take them off the hook completely, but I do feel like if, as a whole, if the defense could have just kept them afloat, kind of like what the Steelers were trying to do to see if they can get their offense going a little bit with Justin Fields. If the defense can just win them games. And guess what? It was. And now this, because you look at the Bengals the offense, I'm sorry. I mean, they ranked third in like efficiency per play. Burrow ranks second in QBR, which is, by the way, that'd be his best finish by far to keep that pace up. And you look at they're second in the league in points per drive.
I mean, it's 3 straight weeks.
Crazy.
It's 3 straight weeks for the offense of at least 33 points. You brought up the biggest point in all this. Their defense is just not good enough. And now they're
not against the teams, 2 of the teams they were playing against.
Well, I just think they are moving forward. They're going to have to play a lot of these games where they're going to have to just outdo everybody. And you have the quarterback to do it. That's just not where you want to be. You just don't want to be in that realm of football, especially when you think that you are a contender. And I know those guys aren't really embracing any of that conversation, but, one of the things that for me is always alarming throughout a season, no matter what sport we're talking about, is when these guys start having players-only meetings. And the defense apparently this week had a players-only meeting, and they really have to figure out what the heck is going on, because now not only is it, hey, we're a bad offense with Dax Hill, but without him now for the season, what does that look like for their secondary? And so this week, I don't think that Daniel Jones without Malik Neighbors is going to cook, but we've seen this defense just allow so many easy pathways for offenses over the last 4 weeks. So the next 2 weeks, I mean, you're talking about 2 quarterbacks that just aren't playing at a high level, Daniel Jones and Deshaun Watson.
Well, the Giants have won exactly one of their past 14 primetime games with Daniel Jones at quarterback. He has the worst record of any quarterback in prime time since the merger.
And there's no
back in 1970. Would you guys allow me, because I think I picked I took the points with the Giants, didn't I? I'm not allowed to change now. Am I done with that? Is that over?
You can't change now.
I'd have to go look. Those are on CB's desk.
The only thing I would tell you is the Bengals, amazing, are 0-4 all time on the road against the Giants. They're only one of 2 teams that have never defeated that team on the road. The other one is the Vikes. 0-6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're winning this game, though.
Yeah.
Bengals are winning.
Yeah. You guys won't. I can't switch, though, right? I can't. Sorry. It's done. Locked.
Cooked, big dog. We already took it out of the oven, served it up, sliced and diced it.
I think the craziest thing we do on the show is pick our Monday games on Thursday. We got to stop doing that. Things can change, Matty.
It's our show. We can do what we want. It's called Rothman and Ice.
I want it to be a team vote.
we can do what we want, big dog.
All right, we're coming back. Who's going in the pressure cooker? Find out next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Looking for a career where you can grow and make a difference? Apply today to join the Bridge Credit Union family. In addition to great pay, Bridge Credit Union offers bonuses, health benefits, paid time off, and a retirement plan with employer match. Bridge also has professional development programs to help you advance your skills. It's not just a job, it's your future. Ready to take the next step? Apply online at bridgecu.org. That's bridgecu.org and start your journey today.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you need a driveway, garage floor, or patio? Call my guys at Maxima Concrete. They are Central Ohio's most trusted concrete company with 250 five-star ratings on Google. Maxima does over 600 projects a year, so no project is too big or complex. There is still time to get your work in this season, or if you're planning for next year, saving your spot is free because they never take deposits. Mention this ad to get $250 off your project. Schedule an estimate today by visiting MaximaConcrete.com.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Thank you for calling Great Lakes. Great Lakes Kia.
Do you like scary movies?
Nah, they don't scare me.
What does scare you?
High car payments. They make me want to scream.
And at Great Lakes Kia?
We have brand new Kias under $5 a day. Come pick one out.
Maybe I'm already here.
Cool. Lease new 24 Kia Forte LXS, EV6 Wind, and Sorrento LX. All three under $5 a day.
That's only $139 a month for 24 months.
Plus new 24 Kia Telluride LX under $8 a day.
$249 for 24 months.
At Great Lakes Kia.
What if I have scary credit?
No problem. Get approved with 0% financing.
Perfect. And I'm right behind you.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Great cars, great people, Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus, GreatLakesKia.com.
Can I hang up now?
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right. He shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy Friday. Time to get a look at that weekend weather report. Heading into your afternoon today, we've got your sunshine. It is warmer with a high of 73. And if you think today is mild, just wait until Saturday, as we'll be looking at highs around 80. We will see increasing clouds on Saturday with a few showers Saturday night. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Under Pressure.
Sponsored by United Dairy Farmers.
I feel like I'm under pressure.
Oh, really?
Like you want you guys to let me out of this bet.
No, big dog, I'm sorry. It's cooked. You knew the rule.
Feels like a mistake, a big one. Taking the Giants as a home dog. That doesn't sound right.
Rocking with Danny Dimes.
But I didn't know about the no neighbors thing. I mean, sadly, that information would have helped me. Let's go to pressure. I'll tell you who I'm going to put it on to start.
Yeah, lead us off.
I'm going to put it on a 38-year-old named Yu Darvish.
Interesting.
He's going to start for the Padres in a winner-take-all game at Dodger Stadium tonight, where fans toss baseballs and trash, causing major delays. He gave up 1 run and 3 hits, all singles, in their Game 2 win. I thought he confused them. He was using all of his different pitches. He was mixing speeds. He and Yamamoto are pretty good friends. That makes for a great matchup. Darvish, ironically, was Ohtani's childhood idol. But Darvish, when you think about the last time at Dodger Stadium in a big game, the elimination game of the World Series, he started Game 7 against Houston. And the Astros led by 5 runs after like 47 pitches and went on to win it all. The Padres need game 2 of this series of what they saw. That Darvish. I think they have no choice but to believe that the 5-time All-Star can deliver again, but he's got to feel some pretty massive pressure being back in Dodger Stadium in a massive game. So I'm putting it on you, Darvish.
I like it. I like it a lot. First guy for me, I'm going with a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I'm going with a second-round pick from the 2020 NFL draft. He was drafted 53rd overall. He stands 6'1", 223 pounds. Last name Hurts, first name Jalen. Jalen Hurts has got to pick up his play. And now the excuses got to go out the window because your boys are back. You got skinny Batman. You got big Batman back in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But even when he had those guys, Jalen Hurts has not been playing very good football. Right now, he's got 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The turnovers have just been killers for him for a while now. So I know the Super Bowl game was amazing. But since then, Jalen Hurts, I think, has just been okay. And he's been handing out gifts to the opposing defense. And now you got Myles Garrett hunting you down on Sunday afternoon at home. So you're coming off a bye. Your top 2 weapons are back. It's time to go. Jalen Hurts, you're on the pressure list, big dog.
I'm going to put a little pressure on a guy who played quarterback for a team called the Minnesota Maulers, semi-pro team about 20 years ago. He decided to go into coaching, but he's never run an offense that was a top 10 group in the entire NFL. Matty, and his name is Todd Downing.
Here we go.
He's now calling the plays for Aaron Rodgers. Even the new head coach is saying that Downing will have full say on the game plan and ultimately the plays that are called within the game. Sounds like he's got more pressure than the quarterback himself. He was the quarterback coach for Matthew Stafford when he broke out with the Lions. He coached Derek Carr when he was with the Raiders. Now he has a 4-time NFL MVP to work with. And he can't completely overhaul the scheme in season. That's probably not going to happen. They're going to continue to go to the same playbook they've worked on all year. This guy is hopefully, as I will say, the lemon on the lobster. Like, by the way, shout out to Cousins' Maine Lobster Truck. Absolutely amazing. Had it the other day.
Paying you for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
They probably should because, you know, that stuff costs cash. But I loved it. And I'm going to say that Todd Downing, you are the lemon on the lobster. You can make everything taste that much better, and you've got pressure now. Because even the head coach is saying, here's the game plan. Go get him, big guy.
Have at it.
Pat on the backside. Todd Downing, you're in the cooker.
Second candidate for me. I'm going to go with a guy that was crowned the MVP leader in the race a couple weeks ago. And now here we are. That don't look too good. I'm talking about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, after that Jacksonville game on Monday Night Football, they won 47-10. He was locked in. They were 3-0. They were rolling. But now you look back at it and say, wait a minute. It was the Cardinals, it was the Dolphins, and it was Jacksonville. And now you ran into some true contenders in the AFC. And a couple weeks ago against Baltimore, it was 6 of 29 for $180, 55% completion percentage, no touchdowns in the game. And then last week you go down to H-Town and you got to deal with C.J. Stroud and company, and you go 9 for 30 for $131, 30% completion percentage and 1 touchdown. You average less than 5 yards a pass. Josh Allen, big dog, the world will be watching because you play on Monday Night Football against the New York Jets. Josh Allen's on the pressure list this week, AR.
All right, finally for me, let's go to a 49-year-old fella here who was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's irrelevant to this conversation. It's not germane to the situation. I'm going right to the potential playoff elimination game, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss at LSU.
Ooh.
Now, according to the ESPN analytics that I'm staring at, Ole Miss still has a third best chance to play in the SEC title game. Really? Just behind Texas and Bama, but ahead of Georgia. You believe that? Well, let's find out, Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss preseason, number 6 in the country. Now, number 9. They had a favorable SEC schedule. He hit the transfer portal hard, real hard. Quarterback Jackson Dart coming back to lead. He knew he had that potential leader of that great offense. They knew they were getting Oklahoma and Georgia at home. No Bama. What did they do? Lose to Kentucky. That's what they do. This was the team that was supposed to be a title contender. If they can win this one, they get a bye week before Oklahoma, and then they have a real chance to make a run. But as a favorite in Death Valley at night, the pressure is on Kiffin and the Rebs. I'm putting it on them.
Last candidate for me. I'm going to baseball. And I'm going to the same game that you started with. But give me the opposing pitcher in that game.
The cash.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You mentioned the cash. AR, how does 12 years, $325 million sound? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? They brought him in for this moment. This used to be the Clayton Kershaw spot, right? Clayton Kershaw, their ace for the longest time. Hey, our season's on the line. You're getting the bump. You're one of the all-time greats. It's time to go. That guy's not available. So Yamamoto, I know you dealt with an injury, and now you're back. The last time we saw Yamamoto against this same San Diego Padres team about 5 to 6 days ago, it did not go well. 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, gave up a dinger, and had 2 walks. So Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you're on the pressure list, bro, because this is the reason why they handed you over $300 million and signed you to a deal that's 12 years long. Time to go, Yamamoto.
I love that one.
You're on the pressure list.
You just made the list. No doubt. Anybody making $325 over the next dozen years should feel it.
This is the moment.
Yeah. Not only did they sign him to that, they also had to stroke a $50 million check to his former team.
Let me get some.
Like some sort of a posting fee, whatever what that is.
Crazy money.
Maddie, I was going to put you on the list saying that name, but you did it so smooth.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I practiced before we came on. You know.
All right, we come back. Picks against the number. We'll lay out the Fab Five. Maybe we'll throw in a bonus pick. It's all against the spread next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony here, and over the years, I've tried to stay in the fight, keep playing, but every now and then, something gets me, shoulder pain, a knee tweak, a recent bout of golfer's elbow. When the weekend warrior injuries happen, the first call I make is to the specialists at Orthopedic One. I don't mess around. I want the #1 ranked place for orthopedics in Ohio. They've earned the right to be called Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Get started at orthopedic1.com. No referral needed, but if you want one, I got you.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Full inventory sale at Logan Services. Save up to $2,500 on a qualifying train system and ask us about tax credits. With a system for every home and budget, it's hard to stop a train with Logan Services.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all-new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Colin Man and T-Bone here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
We love that place so much, Mike. We're going back again to do a live broadcast.
Friday, October 11th. Be there, be a loser. 3 to 6. That's what time the show is.
I mean, we're losers for being on the show, but you can hang out with us and not be a loser.
We have lots of prizes to give away, including hockey tickets, and we're talking about the big football game they're going to be playing the next day.
Plus, we'll have a fan prize pack given away every hour of the show and stickers.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you get the right lawn and garden equipment for the job. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you'll find pros who know their stuff, who don't give you the runaround. Visit them at their Powell location on Sawmill Road for all your John Deere equipment needs, like one of their John Deere XUV 835M Gator utility vehicles. If you need power equipment, you need Voss Brothers Power Equipment. Come on in and get to know them by name at their Powell location on Sawmill Road. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, delivering enjoyment in mowing since 1989.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
College football picks with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Krieger Ford. Find your next Ford at Krieger Ford. Visit KriegerFord.com today.
All right, open up the lid of the trash can. Deposit me right in it. I'm going to stop thinking so hard about these games. I'm going to work smarter, not harder. What do you got there, big fella?
What I got is both of you guys went 1-3 last week. AR, that brings your total on the year to 14 and 15. Maddie, respectable, 17 and 13.
The 1-3 just reminds me.
Big guy.
The 1-3 just reminds me of like my math test grades back in the day. I just
Was one
knew
a
it was
push?
coming. I don't know.
Picked more than 4 games.
A push. I'd have to grab the sheet and see, but there was a push on
Push it
there.
real good?
Yes, correct.
All right. Where we at this week, big dog?
Let's start here, guys, in the 3:30 slate. Penn State is on the road at USC. The Nittany Lions given 3.5.
Penn State with a lot of pressure on them right now, right? You're talking about them being this highly ranked in the AP poll, the highest they've been ranked there since 21. This just comes down to USC's run defense for me. They're second to last in the conference. Like, we know Singleton and Allen are explosive with what they do. Penn State's offense as a whole is really good there as well. I just think Penn State can take a run game on the road, and that carries to me.
Yep.
So I'm going to lay those points and roll with the Nittany Lions.
You going to lay the 3.5?
Yeah.
I think it's the first time in like 15 games they even got anywhere out of the time zone. It's unbelievable. I don't know how that's going to affect them. We don't know. I think the number 4 in front of their name might affect them even more than the time zone. I don't know. The Lions are winning ugly, but they are winning. Singleton is expected to come back. I think that's a big part of what you're talking about with the running game. Yeah. He's averaging about 7 yards a carry. The big eye-opener for me is that Penn State defense has only allowed 18 points over its last 3 games. That's going to come in handy against USC. USC just took care of the ball a lot better. 3 in each of the past 3 games, just absolutely insane. I don't know. It's a season saver for USC, if you want to call it that, but I don't even know what they're really saving here. It's a short enough line for me to lay the 3.5 with Penn State. They've been winning. I could see us losing on that hook here, but I'm going to err on the side of the team I think is better right now. I'll take Penn State.
Guys, this number was big for this game. The Red River, can't call it a shootout anymore.
Right.
Why not?
I don't know. They say
It's
we
politically
can't.
correct not to say the whole.
Oh,
shootout.
Texas giving 14 to Oklahoma.
Where you at,
Texas giving how many?
14. 2 tutties.
Both coming off a bye. Quinn Ewers is back.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Hawkins Jr., I guess, is going to be the first true freshman to start for Oklahoma in this Red River rivalry. Now, it's not his first game. He helped them come back, at Auburn. But I look at Texas and these stats. I mean, number 1 in the country against the pass. They've given up only 1 touchdown. They got 7 picks through 5 games. I don't know how a freshman can deal with that. And I know their defense, Oklahoma's defense, has not faced anything of what they'll face here with the points and everything. Also, you know what? There's revenge here, too, right? I mean, Sooners have won 4 of their past 5, and they upset them with, ironically, Dylan Gabriel, right?
There you go.
And so I think Texas not only gets them big, so I'm going to lay the points.
Yeah, Oklahoma's defense has been sneaky good this year. They held that Tennessee squad the 25 points in the game. That showed me something, and they're second in the SEC in sacks. I am a little concerned about Quinn Ewers being rusty in this one. You hop into this rivalry game right out of the gate. I'm like, it gets a little dicey for me, but Oklahoma's coming into this thing without their best wide receiver. Deion Burks, who leads the squad in receptions and yards, is out. And as you mentioned, we're talking about a true freshman in this game. He is fun to watch for sure, but I think Texas's defense, who is one of the best right now in points allowed, will end up being able to allow this point spread to go in the favor of the Longhorns. So I'm going to lay 2 tutties. I don't love that. That's a big number, but I'm going to do it.
I used to love this game growing up, guys. Florida at Tennessee, 7 o'clock. The Vols given 2 touchdowns as well.
So Tennessee took it on the chin here, recently, right? Their last week against Arkansas, they got kind of physical by the Razorbacks. Nico Iamaleava looked okay the last couple of weeks. Boy, this is an interesting game right here. 14 is a ton for an offense right now that I think's searching for some stuff. So I'm actually going to take the points and roll with the Gators. I think they can keep this close in Knoxville.
Heupel screwed up. He got conservative against Arkansas. It cost him. And, I mean, this is an offense, as you mentioned. They put up almost 200 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
And now what? They've suddenly been figured out? Like, that's weird to me. Because they've been held to under 40 over the last 2 games. But, listen, that team's second only to the Buckeyes in yards allowed per game. I think Florida's defense is allowing nearly 400 a game. I think this is a get-right spot for Tennessee. If maybe this would have been a trap game if they hadn't lost. That works against Florida, so give me Tennessee. I'm running on the favorites here.
Let's stay in the SEC. 7:30 kick for this one. Ole Miss giving 3.5 at LSU.
The amazing atmosphere.
Yeah. Huge game for the playoff chances, as I mentioned. Ole Miss got to have it. Rebs still have home games against Oklahoma and Georgia. LSU, they got to have it. They're at Texas A&M. They got home games against Bama and Oklahoma, so both teams know they got to have it. I think you have to like the LSU offense right now, the way they're cooking a little bit. Both quarterbacks are very good, Jackson Dart and Garrett Nussmeier. Boy, in the end, I'd like to say I love the Rebs defense, but how many are they laying?
3.5.
Ole Miss favored?
Correct.
Yeah.
In Baton Rouge.
I can't do it. I can't do it in Death Valley at night. I got to take the points. I think Ole Miss is better, but it's just too much of a toss-up. I'd rather have the points.
Really good matchup to watch in this one is Ole Miss's run D, which is really good, right?
Very.
I mean, they're first in the SEC in stopping the run. Again, they're only allowing 1.8 a carry, which is crazy so far. But for LSU, you got this freshman running back in Caden Durham who's averaging 8 yards a carry. So that's going to be awesome to see how that works out. At the end of the day, I have to go with what I believe is the better quarterback in this, and that's Jackson Dart. So I'm going to lay the 3.5 for the Rebels on the road in a very tough environment.
Let's go Big 12 after dark here. 10:15 start for this one. Kansas State at Colorado. The Wildcats minus 3.5.
I'm so here for this game. I wish I could be in the building for it. Both these teams are 4-1. Colorado, though, they've lost 5 straight to AP-ranked teams. I'm just concerned about Colorado's offensive line still. I mean, when you're talking about the team in the Big 12 that's number 1 in sacks in Kansas State, that does not add up to a great equation for me, even though Shedeur is absolutely doing his thing, averaging over 300 yards per game through the air. I'm going to lay the 3.5 and roll with Kansas State just because I think the style of play that they bring to the table, Colorado's still not ready for that.
Buffs are underdogs at home. It's a good thing for them. They beat UCF, but they got a lot of turnovers in that game to help them. They got badly beaten by Nebraska. They had drama against North Dakota State and Baylor. Kansas State, they've beaten both ranked teams they faced this year. They bounced back from that ugly loss against BYU. I'm going to take Kansas State and lay the 3.5.
Hey.
We want to go with our bonus game?
Sure, why not?
Let's go back to the noon slate in the Big Ten. Wisconsin is at Rutgers. Rutgers is a 1.5-point favorite at home.
Boy. I mean, the Badgers are finally coming off a pretty good game here. This is a tough test. Rutgers hasn't, their defense is good. We know that.
Yeah, it is.
They're in the top 20. Boy, Wisconsin, they just got to take advantage of the opportunities they get. They will get some. Phil Longo in that offense. I can't believe they delivered last week in that way. But so they have momentum, and they're going to be playing a program they've never lost to in Rutgers. Give me the spread one more time.
1.5.
Wisconsin?
Rutgers is laying.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. Who do you like to win the game? I almost feel like, well, I really want to pick Wisconsin. I really do. I want to ride that momentum a little bit for them.
Jump around with them.
I'm going to do it. Yeah, but there's no jump around. They're on the road.
You can jump around at home. Play it in the third quarter when you're watching the game. I'm going to lay the 1.5. Kyle Monunga is too much to handle. I don't love Wisconsin's offense and what I've seen from them. I know they looked all right, but it's just like physicality for Rutgers, I think, will work out well.
I'm glad we did the bonus game because Maddie finally took a home team. Took all visitors in this.
I'm going all roadies?
All roadies. Well, I mean, obviously, Texas, Oklahoma, neutral site, but they're.
Right. Lets me know if my record.
I only took one. If I'm truly going with the Badgers.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to ride the momentum.
There we go. I like it. Scare money don't make no money. Hey, quick for Guardians fans, some new news just dropping. Tomorrow's game has now been changed to 1:08 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So
That's good.
No night game. So Guardian fans, again, 1:08 p.m. first pitch up in Cleveland because of impending weather. So just wanted to get that out.
What a
there.
gift.
Yeah. There you go.
What an absolute gift.
Game
bring
5.
it back in the League of Shadows, but that's quite a gift that they don't have to go, because we knew once the Yankees lost, there was no prime time game. You thought you'd put them there. They did.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that helps.
Thank Mother Nature, Guardian fans.
Call Shark and let him know so he can get there earlier.
Yeah, we do got to let Shark know that.
You don't think he will know? He's kind of like in the industry.
He's probably sleeping right now.
He is taking a nap.
Oh, wake him up. We'll come back with Tim May planting his flag in Eugene. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Morning Juice.
You have to do the tasting. You have to consume an entire fifth to really get the real feel of what it's going to taste like. At one sitting, of course.
Oh, yeah. Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Are you saving to buy a home in the next 5 years? Grow your money faster at Bridge Credit Union with an Ohio Homebuyer Plus savings account. Earn 10% annual percentage yield plus a $2,500 closing credit for your new home. Must be an Ohio resident at least 18 years old. You only need $100 to get started. Visit bridgecu.org today. NMLS ID 402575. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Saturday is game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Ford.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right, a little Buckeye Bulletin time. And his Delta Tau Chi name is Flounder. And he's with us now on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. My man, Tim May, have you paid your respects at the gravesite of Delta House?
No, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm over, about to head that way. I'm over in Newport, right on the coast, man, looking out over the Pacific Ocean.
Beautiful.
Watching the ships go by and the waves roll in, you know.
Say hi to the sea. Say hi to. That's true. Say hi to the sea lions for me. Up the coast.
We went down into Newport last night, and me and my buddy Jeff Snook, and ended up coming back out here. We just took a little walk down there. The sea lions and the seals were making a cacophony of sound, and on top of that, it didn't smell real good. So you know, when you're in a little seaport where fish are loaded or unloaded. Yeah, you never know what you're going to run into, but it's beautiful out here right on the coast.
The white zone is for the unloading and loading of passengers. Let me ask you this. Does the big game vibe to you talk to these players all week, talk to the coaches, any different than if we were in just a 4-teamer? Now that we're in the 12-team playoff, does this feel as big as it always would have felt? Or do you think since there's that little bit of, okay, a loss doesn't eliminate anybody here. How does it feel to you?
What it feels like is like when I was growing up back in, I'm 70, so I was growing up back in the 60s and 70s, became quite aware of college football. It just feels like one of those great games occasionally you would see in the middle of a season where you go, wow, because you and I both know both of these teams have been favored to play in the Big Ten championship game in December for going on, 9-10 months now, number one. And number two, they could play again. So I think this is a game where you just kick back and enjoy two really good offenses and two really good defenses going at it. A mid-season would be an intersectional game, except now it's in essence for leadership in the Big Ten, for want of another term, between the two teams that you think were the two best teams going into the Big Ten for this season. So I think this is a game you sit back and enjoy, knowing there could be a rematch in December at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
Tim May, when you look at both these teams on the field and what they've produced so far and just assessing all the talent that'll be out there, what's a big headliner for you? What is one big box Ohio State has to check tomorrow if they want to come back to Columbus with a win?
Oh, I thought we were going straight to the headline.
Oh, no.
You scared me there for a minute, Matty Ice. But I know it's clear that's on your mind. Ohio State's got to score points. I mean, you're not playing. And no offense, but you're not playing Western Michigan or Marshall or somebody. This is a step up. You're not even playing Iowa. This is a team with a potent offense, with a quarterback who's thrown for almost as many yards as anybody in history, in Dylan Gabriel. You've got to figure out some way to contain him. He can run and throw. Interesting character, much less interesting player, who's in his third stop and has kind of set school records or close to him everywhere he's been. UCF, Central Florida, Oklahoma, and now Oregon. And this offense seems like it's really cranked up. So you got to figure out some way to contain that offense and not let it go off on you. And then the other side, you got to score points when you have the ball. I mean, kind of simple math when you figure it all up. But that's what you got to do. Will Howard, who's won a championship at Kansas State, is now this is his big true challenge moment. Although I thought last week was, man, when remember we talked to Anthony. If you remember, Anthony, I told you one of the things to watch for last week was Will Howard running the ball more, a little bit more of a weapon running the ball. And actually he did, ran 10 times. And he's got to do something like that again tomorrow. But, boy, play with the cards you got, man. Travion Quinshawn, Emeka, Jeremiah. Yeah, it's kind of a cool lineup when you think just use their first names. Brandon Ennis, Carnell Tate's going to be back, it looks like. So play with the cards that you have on hand, and don't be afraid to be bold.
Yeah, I feel like that. I don't know how many design runs they'll call for Will, but he's ready to do it now. You heard him this week, and I am curious about that because you're right. They can roll out those two running backs, but I'm wondering from your standpoint is how much does he get in the actual design game plan this week? Not just I see it and go.
Yeah. Well, I think Chip Kelly will be watching from above, and while he's calling plays, and hey, you assess it as it goes. How keen is that defense to get pressure up the middle? If it is, things could be open on the edge, and vice versa. So you play it, like I said, you play your cards. You kind of deal the cards more than you play the cards that are dealt. And so what'll be fun to watch is this little poker game that Chip Kelly seems to be really good at.
All right, Tim May, you were ready to go out of the gate. Now it is your time to shine. When Buckeye Nation wakes up on Sunday morning and they finish their cinnamon roll pancakes and they think, wait a minute, I didn't get to see or read what Tim May had to say about this banger of a game. What will your headline read?
I don't know, but you're getting better at this intro every week, going on 6 years now.
Thank you.
I need to rise to the occasion. Here's what I actually did a little homework pre-show. So here's what I came up with, and I want your feedback. Howard, the Red Symphony of Duck Calls, Ohio State quiets Autson's legendary Quackers.
I'm in, Tim May. I like it.
You know what I have to say to that, Tim?
Spartacus.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? It was a great headline.
We're going to visit the Dexter Lake Club. We're going to get to, I don't think the fraternity house is there anymore, is what I'm told.
No, that's been gone for a while.
Yeah, we're going to see some sights, though, because even if you don't see them, you can imagine you see them,
That's
and
it.
I'll just leave you with this thought, man. Knowledge is good.
You'll have in your mind's eye, man. But you'll be disappointed at where Delta is now because it's probably some apartment building or something. But
exactly.
you could definitely.
Why flounder?
Yes, definitely.
Why flounder? Why
not? Exactly. All right, my man. Enjoy it. Live it up. Thank you.
Yeah, I had about 400 other lines, but I'll just keep them. All right, see you, man. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount we can actually quote on this here radio show. When we come back, deep dive time and Will Howard. How emotionally does he feel before this one? Are they flowing? Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Three dudes who'll make you feel like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, we hornswoggled you good.
Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
It's October, baby!
It's October at Lindsay Honda.
Save with 1.9% financing up to 60 months on every new Lindsay Honda, combined with the Lindsay Difference Package. A value of $1,295 included with every vehicle purchase. We're about going the extra mile to provide you with these unique benefits. Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24-25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants to help ease your oil change anxiety with a few moments of automotive peace.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay ECO to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get ECO to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying ECO to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco. Gotcha.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. It doesn't get any bigger than tomorrow night in Eugene as number 2 Ohio State takes on number 3 Oregon at 7:30. On Buckeye Roundtable this week, Ryan Day talked about how they'll deal with the travel.
Yeah, we'll leave kind of mid-morning and get out there and then kind of move around a little bit once we're out there. We're going to try to stay on East Coast time, keep it the same, and try to keep it as much like East Coast time as possible.
Our coverage here on The Fan tomorrow gets underway at 2 with the pregame show. Then the tailgate show takes over at 4. Network coverage beginning at 6. We've got an elimination game in the baseball playoffs tonight as the Dodgers host the Padres at 8. The Guardians play Game 5 of their series against the Tigers tomorrow, now at 1:08 instead of 8 o'clock. Roosters is giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences that include tickets, sideline passes, a trip to a postseason game, and more.
It's Friday, and there's football. I shall call it Football Friday.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for all things football. The Fan. Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice, 2:33 from the Oregonian. James Crepea will jump on with us and give us the real feel on the Oregon Ducks. Are they more of what we saw in the first few games or the last couple? We don't know. Their offensive line's a little revamped. They seem like they got that going a little bit for them. But as Brady Quinn told us earlier, and I'm with him, this feels, I wouldn't be shocked. No one would be shocked if Ohio State lost. You're going on the road to play what the committee, AP, media tell you is the number 3 team in the country. But it just feels like they've got an edge in so many places. Now, do they have an edge at quarterback, Matty? That it could be a question. Now, does it come down to that? And my feel, and I've always said this, about this season, about this team with Ohio State, I don't know if they need Will Howard to win them the game. He's got to be a big part of it. I don't know if they need him to win it. But on the other side, it feels to me like Oregon does need Dylan Gabriel to be the most of it. He's made some really big mistakes last couple games. It hasn't cost them in the red zone. But it feels like this game is in his hands a lot tomorrow night. They will try to run it. Certainly they will. Yeah. But it just, because Jordan James, who, by the way, got it 26 times against Sparty and broke off a 41-yarder in that game, so maybe they do lean on him a little bit. But he does want to get it to Tez Johnson. He does want to get it to Terrence Ferguson, who broke a big one as well as the tight end. Idaho, Boise State, Sparty, all brought pressure from different angles and different looks, and it kind of messed with them a little bit. Not to the point where they lost the game. They were close in those first couple. But I don't know whether maybe Oregon is closer to what the preseason experts thought they could be now. Yeah. And maybe both teams feel pretty good about where they are going into this game.
They should. They should. Yeah. And this is by far, and this is not groundbreaking analysis, the biggest test for both these teams. And there's going to be situations throughout the game where you'll get hit in the chin and you're like, oh, that's something we haven't seen before. But, you mentioned Dylan Gabriel, and my mind goes to Jim Knowles. And this is the game for him. And yes, his players have to execute. But when it comes to the matchup there between defensive coordinator and a veteran quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, this is why Jim Knowles gets paid the money that he gets paid. Not to beat Michigan State, not to beat Western Michigan, to bring home wins like this. And he has the veteran guys on that defense to do that. And I can't wait to see if they have some new things in their bag that they can throw out there. Ohio State's defense going back to last year over their last 14 to 15 games has not allowed a quarterback to throw for over 200 yards passing. That's pretty wild to think about. And now here we are with clearly the best quarterback that they face. I guess you could argue Brady Cook and Luther Burden in the bowl game, but they handled him last year outside of bringing home a win. But it's been that long, going back all the way to last year. They haven't allowed a quarterback to get to 200 yards. And so this secondary is going to have to do a good job of tackling in space, because I don't think they're going to want to challenge Denzel Burke and IGB and Jermaine Matthews and all those guys down the field. It's not what they do anyway. but there's going to be those quick slants. There's going to be those curls. There's going to be those screens, and they have to get off blocks and tackle very, very well. The reason why Dylan Gabriel's completion percentage is number 1 in the nation is because of that. They're not trying to push the ball down the field a ton. So I don't know if the pass rush is going to have a massive impact on this game. I think the D-line can have an impact on this game by applying pressure and knocking down some passes. But I really think this game will be won on defense by the secondary having a clean game of tackling.
Yeah, I'm with you. That sounds exactly right to me and hopefully to most people. I think the difference, and you said it right out of the gate, Oregon beats a lot of teams on talent alone, just the way Ohio State beats them on talent alone. And they can win games when they're making mistakes. Tomorrow night, they can't. Oregon cannot win this game on talent alone. I don't think so. Their red zone offense ranks 90th.
Oregon's.
Yes.
Wow.
And they've got a 6th-year quarterback who's making horrendous mistakes lately. Now, good for him. Maybe he has those out of his system, but the level of defense goes up even higher.
No doubt.
So it's interesting. And then the one thing you could say is that even when Ohio State has struggled, they can count on their defense to keep them in games, maybe even win them some games like this one. I'm glad you put the onus on them. Oregon can't. I don't think they can count on their defense. They were absolutely torched by Boise State. Didn't lose the game, but that's an elite offense that tore them to ribbons. And they got out of it because it was Boise State. But I don't know. This is one of those things that, when you think about, and then the whole Ryan Day big game, I don't know where this one really qualifies for that. It is a big game, but if he loses it, it's not the end of the world. I mean, certainly there'll be heavy critique, heavy criticism, depending how they lose it, whether it's a classic or not. But I don't see it. I don't think you do either. We'll give our final score at the end, and I'd be very objective on this if I felt like Oregon could beat Ohio State. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't be shocked, but if Dylan Gabriel, he's done this before. He's upset big teams before. This is why they paid him all that money and why he went out there. Got a really good chance to lead a pretty good offense. I do like the fact that Oregon does have a lot of seniors on their defense. That's big for them. You got to like that. Ohio State, as you mentioned earlier, is the same kind of veteran group. So here we go. Their revamped offensive line, I think they moved a guard to center. It's really helped them. They have not allowed a sack in 3 games. Like you said, ball comes out fast. And maybe they prevent that just on their style of play. But I come back to all 3 of his picks have come in the red zone. And he was not very good against Sparty. He was not very efficient. So whether he bounces back against a great Ohio State defense is yet to be seen. Vegas tells us it's going to be close. It comes down to tempo. Oregon wants to play with it. And Ohio State wants to kind of bludgeon them a little bit with the run and set up the play action and let Will do his thing on instincts and experience alone. I love this game. It feels very much a little bit different styles, a little bit, but the fact that it's out there gives them a little advantage. However, Buckeye Nation will want to go out there, and they're already out there to travel and see this one. So loving this game, but when it comes down to the close calls that Oregon had early against Idaho and Boise State, I'm kind of resting on the fact that Ohio State feels just a little more complete to me going in.
What's the Will Howard stuff you tease, big dog? What's he talking about?
Oh, yes, the emotion of the game. We talked about the big game feel of it, and the old cliche, this is why he came here and all this is why guys come to Ohio State. He did talk about balancing emotion as an experienced guy.
It's hard to circle on one thing, that you want to focus on in these big games and you want to take away from these big games. But from my experience in playing in them, the biggest thing is staying neutral and not getting too high and getting too low, because we know the emotions are going to be running rampant in this game. We know the implications of this game. We know it's a big one, but at the end of the day, you got to stay neutral, and you can't get too high. You can't get too low. You can't let things that happen affect you. I played it. I'd say one of our biggest games last year was at Texas, and we were down 27-7 in the 4th, and we ended up tying it and going to overtime. I've learned, you just can never say die, and you can never, and you can never be up by too much either. It goes both ways, and you have to understand that the situations really matter, and that one play can make the difference in a game, and every single play really matters. And, in a matchup game like this, we're really focused on that and want to make sure that, we take every opportunity we get to capitalize on opportunities.
That's the experience in him that you hear, and whether and taking it into this game. He's right. They lost that game at Texas. He was decent, had touchdowns, didn't run the ball very much. A lot of negative running in that game, but he has played in some big games, and that was one of them. Didn't win it, but he was at Texas, and he had 4 touchdowns to the 1 pick. I'm looking at his stats right now.
That's such a big deal, what he mentioned there. Like, that's huge, right? That you're not talking about a guy that doesn't know what that feels like. I was watching the Yankees game the other day, and Carlos Rodon started the game, and he is just fired up, jacked up, emotions all over the place, and it came back to bite him. So you have to stay even, especially because for Will, he's the guy that they're looking to, right? And I truly believe that, hey, when you're in the huddle and all that stuff, they can feel the quarterback and where his emotions are. And you just don't want to infuse any type of negative energy into his teammates. I don't think that's going to be the case. The dude's down for whatever. We played a clip earlier in the show where he's ready. Hey, if my numbers got to get called with the run game, I'm willing to do that. Mentally, he's ready for that. Physically, he's ready for this moment. And when he signed a dotted line to come to Ohio State, this was one of the games for him, right? To really showcase who he can be. And the reason why you go from Kansas State to Ohio State is to show everybody, I can play in huge games like this and be a dude. The beautiful part for him is we know now he doesn't have to be Superman. He can be one of the Avengers. He doesn't have to be the Avenger in any of this. And I think that's going to show itself tomorrow. This is a guy that's played 39 games in college football. He's not going to fold, I don't believe. Yes, we're on a 3-game interception streak, and this is one of those situations to where, yeah, that could come back to bite you because of where the talent is. And Coach Day talked about it earlier this week, saying, you know, every play is going to matter in a game like this, and he's so right. But I do think when you talk about the balance that Ohio State has offensively, this is a guy in an offense right now that's ready to go into an environment like this. And bottom line is you need your stars to be stars. And Jeremiah Smith has been that. Emeka has been that. So if somehow, some way, Oregon finds a way to bottle up the run game, you go to those dudes, man, and let them cook.
Yeah, a lot of screens, a lot of getting guys out in space, similar in that way. He can take some shots. No one's going to crush him or throwing long picks. It's just the bonehead ones. It's the ones that you can't have in this game, whether it's situation and all that. But you want him to feel the confidence that he has the guys around him to be able to make those plays. Here's Dan Lanning, head coach of Oregon, and he was talking about what Will does best.
They do a great job schematically of finding, completions. If you're loading up hats in the run game, there's going to be some guys that are open outside. They've done a good job of throwing into open windows and attacking that.
You've seen it. You've seen these ones where he'll just throw screen plays and they'll go to the house, and the great blocking they've had on the outside. This feels like this is where this team has come together very early in the season, right? There have been some times where they've looked sluggish, but I think this is where we learn this all-in feel that we've had about Ohio State. Where does it stand right now? And this is the storyline, man. It's this gives you a leg up in everything you want to achieve. Doesn't knock you out, but it gives you that leg up in everything else. When we come back, we'll do some pre-snap reads. We'll shift back to the NFL. And Ken Dorsey, where's his belief in his offense and his QB? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
I'll be honest, I'm really worried about my kids and grandkids. I never thought we'd be facing a national abortion ban in this country.
That's Kim. She lives in Cincinnati and is a grandma to 6.
If something happened to my family, I'd want them to have all the help they need. But with a national ban, they'll have nowhere to turn.
Bernie Moreno supports a national abortion ban, and he has said he is 100% against abortion with no exceptions. And if Moreno's in the Senate, he could be the deciding vote to pass a national abortion ban.
Last year, we voted to protect abortion in Ohio. Now, Bernie Moreno wants to get rid of that completely. It's simple. I don't trust Bernie Moreno to do what's right for my family, he should never be Ohio's senator.
Your Community PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Your Community PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at yourcommunitypac.org.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy Friday. Time now to get a look at that weather report. 73 is your high today. Sunny skies. Clear tonight with a low around 48. Tomorrow we are looking at increasing clouds with a high of 77. On Sunday, look for a few possible showers with a high of 76. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Free Snap Leads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, Ice, a little Bet365 time.
Let me let you know, my man, that Bet365 is the Cleveland Guardians' exclusive mobile sports betting partner. And also, if you're just now hopping in and you haven't heard, Cleveland Guardians' first pitch tomorrow will now be 1:08. It is no longer a night game. So a little Saturday afternoon matinee for Game 5, winner take all up in Cleveland. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5.
All right, little parlay act, little two-teamer here for me. I'm going to take, this is both for tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll take Skubal to go over 17.5 outs, so 6 innings. I think they'll get 6 innings out of him. It's a winner-take-all game. They're not going to pull him early. Even if he gets into a little trouble, I think you just got to leave him unless the thing just implodes on him, which no one expects. And I'll pair that with the Buckeyes just winning the game. So Skubal to go over 17.5 outs, Ohio State to win on the money line. That two-teamer gets me plus 158.
I like it.
So a little time and a half on my cash.
So somebody emailed me and said that they want another anytime dinger from me today. I can't. I have no confidence in this matchup tonight with Padres and Dodgers. We hit on J-Ram yesterday at plus 600. We got lucky with that. I'm going to an anytime touchdown, though, in the Commanders-Ravens game. And I'm going with the former Buckeye Terry McLaurin, plus 187 to score a touchdown. Ravens secondary is just, it's bad. It's real bad. So Terry McLaurin, he's going to be getting busy in the paint against my Ravens, plus 187, 1 o'clock kick for that one. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, the odds in the Browns' favor, not really. We talked about that earlier today. Vegas says there's a 96% chance they don't make the playoffs. I know a lot of Browns fans have probably upped that to 100%. But here we are. There is still a chance. But when you think about this team, and, I mean, they're off to this historic bad start offensively, and they're sticking with their quarterback. And I've said it on this program before. I don't think James Winston is, quote, saving you. But is it right to make a change to see? Absolutely, probably at this time they're not doing it. They haven't scored over 20 points in all 5 of their games. The longest streak to start a season since they came back, right? And all of their opponents rank in the bottom half of the NFL in efficiency per play.
The Washington game last week was crazy with how bad Washington's defense has been, to not get after them at all. And I know the offensive line is in shambles. I get it. But my goodness, I mean, would they score 6 points in the game?
Awful. And they're sticking with a quarterback, and Stefanski is going to stick with calling the plays. And
scored 13. Sorry, let me get that right. They scored 13 in the game.
What identity they have, who knows? But here's Ken Dorsey on the offense.
When things don't work out the way you want to, is going back and just identifying, all right, where can we be better? Where can we coach better? Where can we execute better? And just that understanding, like we talked about last week, of the ownership of it takes all 11 on the field to execute an offensive football. So I think those are the biggest things you focus on. You go back and you make sure that as coaches we're doing the things that we feel like is best to attack an opponent. Keep a identity that we want to keep, and then making sure that we are going out and focusing on, hey, we got to win today to help us on Sunday.
It's all words at this point. Yeah, because you laid out what it is. Just the production just isn't there. Enough with the whole day by day, whatever. Like, it's just all word salad or garbage to me at this point. And I've got a Browns fan. He doesn't even want to watch the game on Sunday. That's a friend. He's like, I don't even want to watch this anymore because it's so depressing.
I thought you were talking about me.
Well, you may be one of those people too. But yeah, I got a friend of mine. He's like, I don't even get excited on Sundays anymore to watch my team.
I am curious to see what they're going to do against Jalen Hurts coming off a bye with those receivers coming back, with Brown and Smith coming back. I think that's this. You know, we've crushed the offense, and rightfully so, because ever since ESPN started doing their little metric of QBR and all that, Watson has a 21. That's the 4th worst total QBR in a team's first 5 games of a season amongst 480 quarterbacks.
Scale of 100?
Since they've done it since 06. No, I don't know where
that would add up.
Yeah, maybe that is. But my point is that
it's a mess.
It is a mess, but that defense needs to start at least keeping them around if we're going to get to what Ken Dorsey believes could happen. Because you're right, he's right. It's not all on one guy. If Amari Cooper catches a pass, if this guy makes a block, if Deshaun sees this guy, like, yeah, they all have their part of the blame. Mm-hmm. But, man, where was the defense? And I know they played a very good team, and maybe that's the answer to the story, to the question. Maybe they just played a really, really good offense last week that cooked them.
The defense stayed back in the Muni lot and was doing keg stands and drinking high noons. They decided to just not show up. which was crazy to see because I just didn't think they'd allow a rookie to do what he did against them. But maybe I need to open my mind up to all these negative possibilities for the Browns because they continue to show us this week in and week out.
The defense is planning their next celebration when they actually make a tackle.
Yeah. The Denzel Ward kind of arm thing, whatever he does.
Newsome,
yeah.
JOK, all of them. They seem more worried about that than actually stopping someone.
Got to get the Instagram highlights out there, big dog. But it's at Philly. Then you get Joey B and Lamar the next 2 weeks at home. And a very physical offense led by Jim Harbaugh coming to town a couple weeks after that.
Yep.
And then a bye.
Both teams want to control the narrative of this, that the Eagles are probably figure, hey, we got our bye. We're still very good. We've got talent. Our talent's coming back. We should win this game at home. The Browns are like season saver. This is it. We find out.
I'll give you one plane ticket. One plane ticket to go to an NFL game this week. Where are you going? Your team's not playing.
Yeah, they're on a bye.
What game you want to go to? I'll give you a plane ticket right now.
Maybe I swing on down to Big D.
Oh,
watch the Cowboys and Lions in Jerry World. I think that's the one because we both picked the Lions, and I started thinking, maybe we should have taken the home dog boys, being a little better about themselves. I think that's the game for me in Arlington.
I like to be in the building Monday night for Bills Jets with the Jets and just all the changes that they've made over the last 24 to 48 hours. So I'll go Buffalo Jets. Quick note, too, for fantasy stuff. Anthony Richardson did practice in full today.
Jonathan Taylor out.
He's out. Okay. But yeah, the Anthony Richardson thing, how that affects Downs and Pittman's out for a while, that's going to be very interesting to see because I know there's some Colts fans out there that are maybe, let's stick with Joe Flacco. It works.
Boy, was I wrong about this. Shohei's 50-50 ball, the home run ball, hit $2 million almost.
Now we're talking.
The bidding is running through October 22nd. I know there's a lawsuit that's looming over this because the one guy claims it was his. Possession is 9/10 of the law until somebody ripped it out of his pants. And so, but here's the deal. We've seen guys hit home runs. Now, if you're telling me I get the ball and the base, we go full Ricky Henderson, I can yank that 50th stolen base out of the ground and I get the base with it, then maybe it gets to $2 million. I can't believe someone's bidding $2 million on a 50 home run ball.
That's where I was at. Whew, I like it. Good for them.
All right, we come back. James Crepea from the Oregonian. How ready are the Ducks? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk.
Oh, nuts.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Bridge Credit Union is here to help you reach your financial goals. For over 50 years, we have been serving Central Ohio and surrounding communities by delivering an exceptional member experience. We offer a variety of virtual service options that allow you to transfer money, apply for a loan, make a deposit, and monitor your credit score. Our services are secure, reliable, and easy to use. Whether you're inside our branches, online, using our mobile app, or using text banking, we have you covered. Visit us today at bridgecu.org and experience the Bridge difference. At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why. With over 350 five-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
Football is all about scoring big, and so is Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle. Plus, every vehicle purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Our Carvenience service picks up your car, gives you a rental, and returns it without you lifting a finger. Score big today. Experience the difference and visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Breaking news from this side. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and shocks and struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all-new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Big Game Preview.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company. We love what moves you.
All right, welcome back in the Big Game Preview. You know what it is. Buckeyes going out to Autzen Stadium and take on the Ducks, and our friend James Crepea, beat reporter for the Oregonian, is with us now. James, good to have you.
Always good to be on with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Give us a little taste for Buckeye fan that's going to be watching on TV, for Buckeye fan that's traveling to Eugene, Oregon, beautiful place. Autzen Stadium, they pack it in tight, right? If they get to standing room only, they'll be about 60K. Do they still get cell service out there in the mountains? What's that atmosphere like?
Yeah, this will definitely be. This will probably be a record crowd. Almost definitely. I know that certainly whatever may be available in the secondary market, I believe, is about the only place you can find it. It's been standing room only for quite some time now. I know that they are literally over capacity in the press box. For those who are not fortunate enough to have a seat, and there's over 100 of those, there are people stuck on the roof, and they may run out of room up there as well. So quite literally, they are packing it in every place possible to get everybody in there as best as possible, and to whatever the fire marshal will allow. But this one will probably be a record crowd for Autzen, and what will be the biggest home game in program history, first top 5 matchup ever in program history. And you add to it that it's a night game for the East Coast. It's a late afternoon turning into night game by way of local for a 4:30 kick. So I know for Ohio State's record book, I'm going to be curious to see how Jerry Emick moves this one and attributes this one, because I believe they call it after 5 for a night game for their statistical purposes. But by the time this one's over, it'll be after 8 o'clock local. So however which way you put it, it will be an electric atmosphere for sure. Massive recruiting weekend. Weather's looking good ahead of it. So no, this should be everything that you would want for a stage in a massive matchup like this in college football, particularly an on-campus matchup and a conference matchup, the stakes and the like. This is what you would order up and ask for.
As great as it sounds, and I'm sure it will be, 3-6-1 is the record at home against top 5. So how much does that atmosphere really matter at the end of the night, you think?
Yeah, and that's certainly one aspect of it for sure, historically speaking. And if you go back in the record books also and say, all right, what's Oregon's record against number 1 or number 2 teams all time? And there's only one win, and that was against Florida State in the Rose Bowl in the 2014 playoffs. Having said that, most all of those matchups came before Oregon was what most people know of, and certainly what the players on the field in the last generation know of as Oregon. You know, most all of these statistics, most all of these records and numbers come from a bygone era, and that doesn't mean they didn't happen. That doesn't mean they should be, should or shouldn't be dismissed or have some credibility. But ultimately, when most people hear and think of Oregon now, they think of the last 25 to 30 years. That's basically it. Certainly maybe 1990 on, or the mid to late 90s on, since Oregon really took off to being the program that we know it today. If you want to go back to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, yeah, there were some dark ages in there where some really good USC teams came in and some really good Washington teams under Don James, and those teams came in and certainly had their way. But none of that will have any bearing here. Is it one of the better environments in college football? Absolutely. That said, whether it's the listed 54,000 or it'll probably top 59 near 60 on Saturday night, on a per capita basis, it is an electric and loud atmosphere, no doubt about it. It plays far louder than that. It plays closer to the upper 70s, maybe 80 some odd thousand. But let's not mistake it for it. This is not the Horseshoe. This is not Beaver Stadium. This is not the Big House. This is not more than a half a dozen spots in the SEC. It's half the size of those buildings. So is it really loud? And will it be probably the loudest it may have ever been on Saturday? Yes, it will be a factor at times. But, ultimately, has Ohio State played in awfully loud environments, both at home and on the road, that are just plain louder or bigger venues? Yes. But will it be a factor? And put aside, again, antiquated statistics in some ways, because, yeah, we can pull those, but you could also say, all right, how about what Oregon's record is as a top 5 team at home? And that's good. So, again, depending on which one you want to pick out. But, yes, I'm very much aware of some of the history, but much of that history is from, like I say, a bygone era as far as the Oregon program is concerned.
All right, let's take it to the field. I want to ask you about the most important position, and that's quarterback in Dillon Gabriel. You go from Bo Nix under Dan Lanning. He turned into a first-round pick, and now you got Dillon Gabriel coming up from Oklahoma. What have you learned about him throughout the first handful of games? And for the Buckeye fans that haven't caught him yet with their own eyes, what should they expect from Dillon Gabriel?
Well, I think for some who hadn't had a chance to watch him all that much, and granted, we're talking about a 6-year quarterback, so it's not like you had lack of opportunity to see the literally most experienced quarterback in college football. But I guess, some fans don't necessarily tune in across the country every weekend. I think some have learned that Dillon has a knack for holding on to the football a wee bit too long at times. And when he gets off schedule, sometimes, and I mean off schedule by way of timing, not off schedule in terms of behind the sticks, because they really haven't been behind the sticks all that much. Sometimes that doesn't go out, doesn't pan out very well. In the last couple of weeks, that's been an issue inside the red zone. His 3 interceptions on the season have all come in the last 2 games. They've all been inside the red zone, and they've come on forced throws by his own admission. So that's something that I think fans have learned a bit, not only in those errors, but even in the first couple of games when the offensive line protection was an issue. A lot of it was on the line, and a couple of the pressures that happened, a couple of the sacks that happened were also because he was holding on to the ball. I think fans have learned that a bit. I don't think that should really come as a surprise. Perhaps Ohio State fans, because whether they've watched, Dillon either previously at Oklahoma or UCF, maybe they would have picked up on that a bit, certainly. That should not come again as a shock. These are the things that, to me, when you were bringing in Dillon Gabriel as Oregon, you knew a couple of things. You knew that he was not Bo Nix and that he's probably not going to be a first-round pick. And that just has not just has to do with talent. That has to do with Bo Nix is like 6'3". Dillon Gabriel is generously 5'10". First off, second off, like I say, there are other things, particularly holding on to the football at times. To say nothing of some of the caliber of opponents that he's played, historically speaking, outside of the Red River game last year in Texas, where it was a great comeback, great performance, and against a legitimate team, legitimate defense. A lot of the teams that he played and put up some great numbers against simply were not the caliber of talent that Nix had either in the SEC when he was at Auburn or here at Oregon. This was the chance. This was the final year opportunity to see heightened competition, be surrounded with the most talent, and probably play behind the best offensive line he was going to play behind. after they've shored up some things, or they believe they've shored up some things on the O-line, when Gabriel's had time to operate and time to read the defense accordingly, and when Will Stein has put not just him but the entire offense in some really, really good play calls and well-designed plays, they've delivered. So his accuracy and efficiency when he has time, and that's not all the time in the world, and that's not excessive time. No, they're actually succeeding a lot when he gets the ball out in 2.5 seconds or less. And that's because he's able to be decisive. It's easy reads or it's well-drawn-up plays. And when he can do that, he is one of the most lethal, accurate, and efficient quarterbacks in the country. He has lived up to the billing in that way. He has also, like I say, though, lived up to the billing of when he is off of those things, things can go awry. And I think some of the masses here have learned that a bit and obviously want him to curb that very badly, very quickly against the number one defense in the country because they know they cannot afford those kind of errors if they're going to pull a win here against Ohio State and set themselves up to get to Indianapolis at the end of the season.
All right, James, we got about a minute left here. Let me ask you about what they believe, maybe what you believe, that changed from those two very early scares where they appeared very overhyped this season to now kind of writing it and feeling pretty decent going into this game. Those games against Idaho and Boise State obviously were scares. They get through them. What was going on then, and was it real, and what have they changed?
Simplest and easiest thing to say simply is, look, the offensive line was a bit of a mess the first couple of weeks. They were changing lineups. They had 4 different lineups that changed 11 times over 57 plays against Boise State. So that should tell you, without injury, by the way. So that just shows you they really were trying just about anything. They stuck with one of those combinations ever since. That's been a major factor. So continuity on the line, consistency on the line, and overall performance and execution on the line. They changed a few things schematically more than just the lineup. That's the biggest part. However, that came against Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State. Let's not confuse any of those teams. If you put an all-star team of those 3 defenses together, it would pale in comparison to this Ohio State defense. So they shored up some things, and no pressure allowed is no pressure allowed. Yes, that's success. Achieve that against inferior competition. This competition is a different stratosphere. They know that. So how valid those conclusions and those fixes are, we'll find out on Saturday. But elsewhere, look, defensively, you want to talk about Boise State. Hey, Ashton Jeanty hit some big runs. Mm-hmm. He's going to do that against a lot of people. He continues to do that against a lot of people. Frankly, Oregon containing him for 20 out of the 24 or so carries he had on the night was a pretty good day at the office. It's that the other 4 made up a massive chunk of his night, and he had a big night, and credit to him. And that's probably the best running back in the country. But I think it's going to stand the test of time in terms of Oregon's performance against him and ultimately, obviously, beating them. It's one of the best wins of the season for any of the undefeated teams thus far, and they could still very well be a playoff team at Boise State. So what have they fixed? Offensive line. Defense has been consistent all the way. And, yes, against, again, weaker running backs compared to Jeanty, which, again, is about to change this weekend. They've done far, far better, but they've been consistent on defense outside of those couple of plays against Jeanty really across the board.
Outstanding scene setter from our friend James Crepea, beat reporter, Oregonian. Thanks, my man. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, James. Well done. Looking forward to it. He was on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We come back with Tell the Truth and our final score predictions. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote.
On major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty and Social Security benefits, too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
Ignore it, because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
The Buckeye Show.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. I mean, I'm sure he's in bed. I tell you what, Ryan, you better not be saying those things about me.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings with new low prices on hundreds of your favorite produce items like pineapples, avocados, navel oranges, and lettuce at your neighborhood Giant Eagle.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
All right, before we get to that, Bake, here's the truth. That the Guardians have been moved to 108 tomorrow afternoon first pitch. So they won't go head-to-head with the Buckeyes. The truth, I believe, is that there really is impending weather. I'm not sensing this was something like, oh, no, we made a mistake. We can't put it up against the greatest college football game of the weekend. Let's shift it. You and I both thought they needed a primetime game because the Yankees lost. There was nothing to fill in the evening time, even though it is a weekend. They could play it in the afternoon, but people tend to do more things in the afternoon. But the bottom line is you will be able to hear the Guardians and the Tigers in a winner-take-all Game 5 of the ALDS on ESPN Columbus 1460 before the Oregon-Ohio State game. So keep it locked here on the Fan. You don't have to touch anything. duct tape it, do whatever you need to do, and you'll have it all tomorrow. All right, Bake, take us home.
All right, guys, today is National Sausage Pizza Day. I know you love this, Rothman. How do you guys feel about sausage on the pizza?
So I used to feel great about it, but no more. Maddie knows that. Don't eat that anymore. But my bro used to go with the hamburger on pizza. He went ground beef. He always did that, and I will tell you, it's a little underrated. It's not as spicy, obviously, and he liked a good hamburger pizza.
Okay.
But I'm out on the sausage now.
I see you, Brian. I see you, big dog. We'll have to try that out. I'm in on sausage pizza. It's absolutely a win. You just get that straight up with some good cheese and a nice little crust. That's a party bake. My go-to is pepperoni and sausage, though. The pep sausage combination with a little Parmesan cheese dusting is just a party inside your grill. But I'm in on sausage pizza for sure.
Maddie, there's nothing wrong with going both ways.
The truth? It's overrated.
What's wrong with this man?
All right, guys, Ohio State will have over 200 rushing yards tomorrow night against Oregon.
Oh, boy, 200. Man, that's a good number, Big. Yeah. I'm going to go under on that because I think Will's going to do some damage with his arm. But those guys will still provide a nice punch. But, yeah, give me the under on 200.
Yeah, if they do, you can almost lock up the dub, right? And I'm not going to say they're going to try real hard to do that. I'm going to take a slight under on that as well. I think that their number one priority is trying, in air quotes, to put the game in Howard's hands. So I'll go under on the 200 rushing.
You calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
I should break one.
We have not talked about this the past 2 days, guys, but the Ohio State basketball team announced their game times and broadcast partners for each game this season. They have 5 games on Peacock and 1 on Big Ten Plus. So if you're a streamer, that'll make you happy. If you're not real thrilled with this. Are you guys okay with this?
Okay with it? No, I'm anything but okay with it. It's horrendous. You said 5 games on Peacock and 1 on Big Ten Plus.
Yeah, I don't need
more logging in to watch things. So I'm not okay with that. Do we know which games?
I'd have to pull up the schedule
because that would
most of them are
the key.
Non-conference, I believe.
Okay,
but there are a couple conference games.
What are we doing with the Big Ten Plus thing? Peacock doesn't bother me. That's fine. I'm used to that at this point between, all the other sports that they throw in there and the WWE stuff I watch all the time.
All the other pay-per-view things that you have to watch.
They're not pay-per-views anymore. You just get them on Peacock. Big Ten Plus is where they lose me. I don't even know where to begin with that. Peacock I'm good with, though.
Why you always lying?
All right, guys, let's get one more in here real quick. There are 6 teams left in the Major League Baseball postseason. After tonight, there will be 5. After tomorrow, there will be 4. Who is your favorite, your personal favorite to win the World Series?
Who do I want to win the World Series?
Oh, want or will?
Personal.
Just who you think will.
I think it's the Padres. I don't think it's the Padres, but I do want to see another Subway Series. I want T-Bone's Mets and the Yankees to get after it.
I'm still voting for the Ohtani Judge World Series, and I know that pains me because I probably don't want either one of those teams to win at all. But we're kind of at that point now where I have to admit that the Yankees are probably the ones that will win it. But I think I'm going to root for the Pods with Maddie.
Yep. The truth shall set you free.
If you missed anything from our show, Brady Quinn, NFL picks, Tim May, all that good stuff on a Football Friday, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3. We'll be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Common Man and T-Bone are out at Hollywood Casino. 2 of the week for them, Buckeye, Oregon talk. And Mike wants you to stop by and give him a kiss on the cheek.
Or somewhere else. All right, score.
28-24. Buckeyes come back to the city with a dub.
31-24, Bucks. Bake.
I'm thinking 34-23, Ohio State.
Okay.
And I am looking at a half-empty bottle of Cavatier, which means that we are just about out of time.
Indeed we are. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you Monday. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JustSports for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Top 25 Big Ten games this weekend. The Buckeyes are a 3.5-point favorite over the Ducks. Illinois is a 3-touchdown favorite over Purdue. And Penn State's a 4.5-point road favorite over USC. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. We often hear businesses say that they are, quote, family owned and operated, which leads you to think, how often are the owners of the company involved in day-to-day operations? Well, when it comes to Newman Roofing, I can personally tell you that I met with Tim. I met with his daughters. They have 4 family members of Newman Roofing overseeing the different divisions of the company, ensuring that an excellent customer service experience is going to be provided to you every time. Folks, I can personally testify they were great with my wife and I, and they will do the same for you. With Newman Roofing, their family focuses on every detail, and it allows them to deliver that white glove experience, not just for me, but for everyone, that you're not going to get with those larger corporations. 32 years in business, 3 generations in the roofing industry. They can do it all, and they will take care of you. So before those winter storms hit, have Newman Roofing come out and take a look. Whether it's a repair or replacement, Newman has you covered at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies.
Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios.
but
Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and shocks and struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Bo Bishop here for my friends at Diamond Cellar. Ready to pop the question but don't know where to start? Visit Diamond Cellar's After Hours on October 17th for a night out with a DJ, drinks, and exclusive discounts on engagement rings and a chance to win OSU or CBJ tickets.